Chapter-621-rumor. Rumor. Luhan's eyes burst with light, as if to see through Juju, and shouted, "Sen Luo told you. Sen Luo told you." "Yes, he treated me." Ju met Luhan's gaze, as if he could not feel the terrifying pressure coming on. He also said that he has a son, in the village of Konoha, in the hands of Danzo. "Oh yes, you might not know it yet, Danzo has defected from Konoha." Quote. Luhan's expression was stunned. He chased and killed Hanzo for thousands of miles, just to avenge Sen Luo, but now, listening to Ju, the forest is still alive. Luhan couldn't help recalling that the night 7 days ago, Sen Luo was attacked by Hanzo in the sky, and was bombarded by Hanzo on the ground. Then Hanzo released his ninjutsu. The flaming flames engulfed Sen Luo, and the green dot representing Sen Luo's existence also followed. It disappeared on the insight map. Underground. The easiest way is to drag Sen Luo underground from the ground to the ground. At different levels, the insight map cannot detect it. Luhan could imagine what the situation was at that time, and he could rescue Sen Luo and heal him. Only Uchiha Madara is injured. The Poison Jay Forest, where poisonous insects are rampant, is buzzing endlessly. Hanzo with a broken arm turns into a shadow in the forest. The speed is as fast as ultimate. Unusually, there are still some poisonous insects who are good at flying very fast and keep rushing towards him. Originally, Hanzo's subordinate Omegakure Anbu had a ninja who could control poisonous insects, but that man had been killed by Hangguang. The poisonous insects here did not recognize people. Even if Hanzo exuded a dangerous atmosphere, some poisonous insects would still attack him. Group after group of poisonous insects swooped on Hanzo, and then all of them were poisoned and died, falling to the ground piece by piece. Hanzo has the poison sac of the Sancho fish in his body, and he can also release the poison. This time, because no one was chasing him, he didn't lose his way. In just 10 minutes, Hanzo rushed out of the Poison Jay Forest. By the river, the water was gurgling, and Hanzo's mutilated body was reflected on the river surface. He knelt on one knee on the river bank. Some of his skin had turned blue-purple under his tattered clothes. He was bitten by a poisonous insect and broke his arm. Looks very intriguing. Cold light, cold light. Ah! Hanzo dropped his fist to the ground and screamed shrilly by the lake. A day later, Hanzo, who was seriously wounded, returned to Omegakure village. The legions of Omegakure village received orders immediately and began to shrink their troops and stick to the core area of Omegakure village master in the land of rain. The news spread throughout the rain country in a very short time. The spies of the major forces in the land of rain have all received accurate information, and they are all urgently sent to the headquarters of their respective forces. Han Guang is still missing. Rumors of Han Guang's death spread like wildfire. But just 2 days later, a new rumor caused a sensation in the country of rain, and then the entire ninja world. The credibility of this rumor is very high, because it is said that Hanzo said it himself. Captain Konoha Anbu Han Guangzan Kazekage, the third generation of Sunagakure, in the forest of the rain forest. Hanzo survived, but Hangguang disappeared. People thought it was the destruction of the new myth, but they didn't expect that Hanzo did not kill Hanzo, but cut off Hanzo's arm, and at the same time killed the same level as Hanzo. The third generation of Kazekage. As the major forces in the ninja world got the news, they all sent spies to Sunagakure village. They just want to confirm whether Kazekage 3 is still alive. This is the easiest way. As long as Kazekage 3 shows up publicly, all rumors will be dispelled, and if he doesn't show up, it means he is dead. If he was still alive, it was impossible not to show his face, because the news of his death had upset the Sunagakure Legion, and he had to show up to reassure them. However, 3 generations of Kazekage never appeared again. 7 days after Hanzo returned to Omegakure village, Sunagakure village, the land of winds, publicly announced the fact that Kazekage 3 had disappeared, and announced that Sunagakure advisor Ebizo had become Kazecage's agent. Before Kazekage 3 returned or confirmed the death of Kazekage 3, Ebizo would be in full control. Sunagakure village. In fact, Sunagakure village really can't be sure that the third generation of Kazekage is dead, and there are no dead or dead. Hanzo said that he was killed by Hangguang, but Hangguang is still missing. The village of Kumogakure once again declared war on the village of Iwagakure, and the Ja army was approaching the border of the land. The village of Iwagakure announced the end of the alliance with Konoha, shrinking all the troops to return to the land, and preparing for a decisive battle with the village of Kumogakure. Sunagakure village once again sent more troops to the battlefield of the Land of Rain, and the troops are directed at the Konoha core. Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third generation of Konoha village, made a public speech again, urging the village of Omegakure to surrender unconditionally as soon as possible. Third generation, and the adjustment of the Omegakure village after Hanzo was severely injured. This ninja war that lasted for several years was once again intensified. This may be the last full-scale conflict in this war, because once this conflict is over, the Ninja World War will be decided. The whole world seems to be hostile towards Konoha. Kumogakure village forced Iwagakure village to withdraw its troops in the country of Rain, which was aimed at Konoha. Without the assistance of Iwagakure village, Konoha would face the attack of Sunagakure and Omegakure. Konoha had the strength to win, it was only a matter of time, but now, 1-on-2, the outcome is unpredictable. Another 5 days in the blink of an eye. Counting from that night in End Valley, Hangguang has been missing for a full 20 days. There are rumors that Hangguang has secretly returned to Konoha, but this rumor is not supported by any evidence. Somewhere in the country of fire, in a dark underground cave, braziers stood on both sides of the stone platform. The firelight illuminated a 3-meter radius. On the stone platform was a chessboard. "Aren't you going to let Sen Luo go?" Lu Han, who was wearing casual clothes with his long hair tied behind his head, dropped a chess piece on the chessboard and glanced at the extremely old man across from him. "He still has problems." Uchiha Madara looked at the board, his voice hoarse. "Leave me, he will die." "Is his problem a heart attack?" Lu Han asked. "Not all," Uchiha Madara said. White Zetsu slowly walked out of the darkness not far away, and said in a low voice, "I found Danzo." Chapter 0622 Danzo Must Die. Reason why Lu Han didn't rush back to Konoha village immediately was because of Sen Luo and Danzo. Lu Han didn't believe that Danzo would betray Konoha and fight Sarutobi Hiruzen. With Danzo's strength, if Sarutobi Hiruzen really wanted to kill him, he had no chance of escaping. Understands that this is a play. Danzo once again sent someone to assassinate Lu Han, but Lu Han has grown strong enough to be feared. Sarutobi Hiruzen has no reason to stop Lu Han. At that time, Lu Han represented Sarutobi Hiruzen and visited Lei. The country of Kumogakure village. Danzo sent people to rob and kill on the way. This behavior is more serious, it is equivalent to betraying the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't protect Danzo, so he could only let Danzo leave, let Danzo go out to avoid the limelight. Danzo might not be able to return to Konoha in his life, he just needed an opportunity. Lu Han couldn't let Danzo live any longer. This guy is a complete scourge, and there is a very important point. Sen Luo's son is in his hands, very, very troublesome. After being cured by Uchiha Madara, Sen Luo's strength has skyrocketed. Mangekyo Sharingan and Mokuden wood style, this combination is enough to make Sen Luo ranked as the strongest. If he goes crazy, it will be really scary. "Where are the people?" Uchiha Madara asked hoarsely. "Land of the Vortex," White Zetsu said. "You're going." Uchiha Madara looked up at Lu Han, "Or let Sen Luo go. Or both of you." On the matter of killing Hanzo, Uchiha Madara and Lu Han agreed, Danzo must be dead. For Madara, Danzo used to be Sen Luo's master. Although the power of yin and yang has broken Danzo's control over Sen Luo, the psychological impact must still exist. The second is that Danzo kidnapped Sen Luo's son, which will affect Madara. Control of Sen Luo. Sen Luo is emotionally unstable. If Danzo uses that child to threaten Sen Luo, the situation is likely to get out of control. Lu Han stood up. "I'd better go, I will try to bring Sen Luo's child back. Danzo can't use that the child came to threaten me. Lu Han and White Zetsu disappeared in the cave one after another. He has a very strange relationship with Madara now. It can't be said to be a friend or an enemy. Madara once wanted to kill Lu Han, but he saved Sen Luo, and he finally started to face Lu Han's strength. Lu Han also wanted to use his strength. Two ill-conceived guys, both cooperating and calculating each other. In fact, if Lu Han had the strength to kill Uchiha Madara, he would do it right away, but he wasn't sure. Madara is the same, he lost the confidence to kill Lu Han. After Lu Han and White Zetsu left, Uchiha Madara was playing with the chessboard alone, and a pitch-black voice came out of the darkness without a sound. Black Zetsu looked at Madara and said in a low voice, "Do you believe him? It's just to use each other." Uchiha Madara said, putting away the pieces on the chessboard one by one, "I'll give you a task, go and bring that child back before the cold light. If it doesn't work, kill him." On the 17th day of Han Guang's disappearance, in the early morning, in the Kingdom of Vortex. Since the destruction of the Uzushiogakure village, the country of the Vortex has lost its absolute ruler. After the loss of the village of Kurigakure a few years ago, it has shrunk out of the country. In fact, they have already obtained enough benefits without Uzushiogakure village. There is no force that can compete with them for the marine resources of the East China Sea, the country of Vortex. They have little interest in this land, which will arouse the sensitive nerves of Konoha village, and the gain will outweigh the loss. In the past 2 years, there were civil strife in the country of Vortex. It was a war that ordinary people only saw. Now, the turmoil has been calmed down. The interests of the ninja forces in the country have been controlled by many ordinary people. On the north coast, a seemingly peaceful small fishing village. Danzo stood on the tower, watching the ebb and flow of the northern sea, expressionless. This fishing village has been controlled by him. There are no ordinary people here. In addition to him and more than 24 ninjas, there are hundreds of ninjas from all over the ninja world. They are either solo ninjas or missing nin. Danzo uses enough money to buy them off. "Sir." A dark figure appeared behind Danzo, knelt down on one knee and said quickly, "Shaokura is missing, and I can't find him anywhere." "Huh." Danzo frowned back. "When was the last time you saw him?" "Before dawn." "Where's the man who takes care of him?" "Missing too." "Look, live to see people die and see corpses." "Yes." The area of this small fishing village is not large, but it can be regarded as a master. All the ninjas are masters, at least the strength of Jonin. The news is constantly reported to Danzo, "Can't find it, can't find it, still can't find it." Even traces if he didn't stay. Kokura was still a child, and he was taken care of by a female ninja who was bought with money. The two big living people just disappeared, not even leaving a trace. Could it be that the woman moved with compassion and left quietly with the child? Danzo guessed, feeling a little irritable. In fact, he didn't care about the life of that Shaokura, that is, Sen Luo's son, because Sen Luo had already died in the Valley of the End, and the value of that child's existence was not high. Danzo was worried that there was an inner ghost. Now the major forces in the ninja world, they all sent people out to find him. If there was an inner ghost, the consequences would be disastrous for him. Chirp! A large bird flew over the sea, gray and white, with wings more than 1 meter long. Danzo stood on the tower and looked into the distance with a happy expression on his face. Your big bird flew into the pavilion on the top of the tower, spit out a small scroll, then flew out of the tower, circled half a circle and flew towards the horizon again. Danzo opened the small scroll, and there was only a simple line on it. Han Guang disappeared on the 15th day and did not return. No signatures, no special marks or symbols of symbolic meaning, just that line. In fact, Han Guang has been missing for 17 days, but it takes time to pass the news. This secret letter was sent 2 days ago. At that time, Han Guang was indeed missing for 15 days. Okay. Danzo smiled as he looked at the scroll. The longer Han Guang was missing, the more likely he was dead. If he could confirm that Han Guang was dead, then Danzo could return to Konoha. Evacuate all. Danzo ordered that the small fishing village was soon empty, and just 10 minutes after Danzo left the small fishing village, a figure appeared out of thin air on the tower. Chapter 0623-No Escape. With a mask on, Luhan's eyes were as sharp as those of an eagle. Standing on the high tower, he slowly scanned the entire small fishing village. The wisps of cooking smoke had not disappeared, but the small fishing village was empty. Everyone left in a hurry. But in order to clear the traces of just leaving here, Danzo apparently ordered to leave here suddenly out of some consideration, not to escape, but to transfer. He hasn't gone far. The ghost of White Zetsu usually appeared behind Luhan. I know. Lu Leng coldly glanced behind him, then disappeared. The northern part of the country of Vortex is like a jungle, like a tropical rainforest. The country of Vortex is a country with complex terrain. Although it is not big, it has mountains, rivers, grasslands and forests. This forest is the only one on the north coast of the country of Vortex. From the map, the forest is only 30 or 40 kilometers wide from south to north, but more than 200 kilometers long from east to west. Danzo led a few root ninjas to the front, followed by hundreds of skirmish ninjas who had gathered with money. Shui Binz was in the middle of the team, and his slender figure was inconspicuous. Danzo in front of him, a look of anxiety flashed deep in his eyes. Mazubins is a scout ninja of Anbu in Kurigakure village. He is not very strong. He is nearly 40 years old. He is just an ordinary jonin. The purpose is to keep the country of Vortex chaotic. After the collapse of the village of Uzushiogakure, the country of Vortex soon emerged, and more than a dozen small forces emerged. These forces seem to be the forces of ordinary people, but in fact there are ninjas behind them. Kurigakure does not want someone to settle the chaos in the country of Vortex. If the country of Vortex is once again unified by a certain force, a new daimyo will appear. In this case, there will inevitably be a great ninja force to take over the country of Vortex, and it is the closest to the country of Vortex. The addition to Konoha is Kurigakure. If Kurigakure dares to take over the country of the Vortex, Konoha will inevitably see it as a threat, and war will break out. And if Konoha takes over the country of the Vortex, it will threaten Kurigakure's maritime interests. Kurigakure didn't want to go to war with Konoha, so they had to keep the country of the Vortex separate. In the 3 years since the waterfront came to the country of the Vortex, a total of 26 people have been killed. These 26 people have different identities. It will cause a war, big or small. Not long ago, Shui Binz, who was lurking in the country of Vortex, received a secret order to add the task of finding Danzo to the original task, and the search area was in the country of Vortex. He didn't expect that he would be so lucky. 3 days after receiving the new task, he met Danzo. Danzo has not revealed his identity to the outside world. Except for his cronies, he always wears a mask when he sees outsiders, but Mazubin Z still accurately judged that the rich guy who claimed to be from the land of rain was Danzo. Danzo's camouflage ability is excellent, as is the root ninja, but the coldness of the root ninja and absolute obedience to Danzo gave Mizuhamazawa a basis for judgment. Binz had already sent out the information about the discovery of Danzo 5 days ago, but he didn't expect that Danzo suddenly gave up the small ninja village he was building. He didn't know where Danzo would go, and he couldn't leave the team at will to send information. Why haven't you come yet? If you hurry up, 1 visit is enough. Shui Binz was really impatient. The reward for finding Danzo was to retire permanently. That is to say, as long as the people from Kurigakure village come to the country of Vortex and confirm that Danzo is here, then Mizuhamazawa can directly return to Kurigakure, leave Kurigakure Anbu, remove all his duties, and start retirement. Shui Binz, who has been out performing tasks all year round, is really fed up with this kind of life, and he really wants to go back and have a good rest. Danzo leads the way. No one knows his plan, he can only lead the way himself. His eyes are very vigilant. Call. A figure appeared in front of Danzo out of thin air, and then 3 figures appeared. These 4 people were all Danzo, cronies, root ninjas, and in the hands of the first root ninja, there was also a half-dead long-hair ninja. There was a commotion in the team, and Shui Bin's also looked tense. The long-haired ninja was covered in blood and was dying. He was still in the small fishing village a few minutes ago, chatting and laughing with Shui Bin's. Like Shui Bin's, he was also an idle ninja hired by Danzo. When the team set off, he was just behind Shui Bin's, but he didn't know when he quietly left. Apparently he wanted to leave secretly, but was caught and brought back. This is a Jonin, and he was brought back without even a single movement. Did you ask? Danzo asked coldly. The land of wind. The ninja with the human root replied coldly. Humph. Danzo snorted coldly, and instantly drew the knife. Blinking his eyes, the knife retracted the scabbard. The long-haired head rolled to the ground. This is the price of leaving without permission. Danzo will execute every person who leaves without permission and is captured. All the 100 ninjas in the team subconsciously lit their necks, and they were silent. They had never seen Danzo perform ninjutsu, but they had seen how powerful the ninjas around Danzo were. Shui Bin shrank his neck subconsciously, making him even more inconspicuous in the team. Naturally, he had heard of Danzo's fierce name long ago, and the longer he stayed with Danzo, the more real Danzo's fierceness became. People are afraid. If any of you want to go, yes, but let me know in advance. Danzo turned back. No, no, no. Swear allegiance to the Lord. Follow me to the death. More than 100 ninjas said in panic. I hope you are telling the truth. Danzo said, turning his head and waving his hand again, on the road. Under the leadership of Danzo, the team continued to move forward. No one saw it. Under the hideous mask, Danzo's mouth evoked a smile. Here, step by step, kill a group, give up a group, and finally those who remain will become his cronies and new root ninjas. Danzo is still thinking about how to use this hidden power outside of Konoha in the future. Call. The figure lingering with blood mist all over appeared behind Danzo out of thin air, stunned and furious. Chapter 0624 The Death of Danzo. Danzo, who has gone through countless lives and deaths, has a very keen sense of death. Since he was severely injured by Luhan and nearly killed 3 years ago, he has overcome his pain and stood up, and his strength has improved. In Luhan's eyes, the rating is still up to 60 white silver boss. The terrifying crisis suddenly enveloped his whole body, and Danzo was horrified. He instantly triggered the instant body technique on his body. Luhan slashed the air with a knife, but they followed him like a shadow. The two were already more than 100 meters away from the team. A gust of wind suddenly broke out on Danzo, and the terrifying futon, wind-style chakra seemed to tear everything around him. Puff! The ground was shocked, and a gully of dozens of meters long was cut out of the ground. The ground was shaken, and the blood spurted and swayed like Izumi. This knife slashed through Danzo's right back shoulder, slicing through his body diagonally. Ah! Danzo let out a shrill scream, then his vitality was cut off, and the two halves of the body fell to the ground. The golden light that only Luhan could see was shining. Hundreds of falling objects rushed into the sky, turned into streamers, and penetrated into Luhan's body. On May 6, the 35th year of Konoha, Danzo died in the forest on the northern coast of the country of Vortex, at the age of 43. The wind blew lightly, and the bloody smell flew away with the wind. Covered Voice turned his back to the team of more than 100 people, looking at Danzo who was dead on the ground. The aura of brutality made one shudder, and the team was silent. It's like falling into an ice cave. They are now Danzo's subordinates, and that person has already killed Danzo first. But he saw the man cut off Danzo's head with another knife, and then the head disappeared, and he didn't know where it was stored. Kill. Kill him. Kill. The root ninjas all went crazy after the initial lag. They were cold-killing machines. They were dead men. They didn't care how strong their opponents were. They just wanted revenge for Danzo. After all, they are also poor people. Hey, Luhan sighed softly. Hush. The huge lotus flower is in full bloom, and the futon wind style flower rain cutting technique is blooming brilliantly at this moment. Countless small wind blades swept all around. The team is more than 100 meters away from Lu Hanzu. This futon wind style forbidden technique still can't affect them. Only those ninjas who are not afraid of death rushed to Lu Han's side. At this moment, they were all torn apart by the wind blade. When the wind dissipated, no one could be seen around, only blood was left on the ground. Lu Han turned around and looked at the team of more than 100 people. The figure flashed before the team. The eyes of the mask shone with a cold light. Hundreds of ninjas retreated in fright. At the same time, he was still thinking, who is this person who is haunted by the blood mist? Such terrifying strength is by no means unknown. Lu Han frowned slightly. He didn't see any children in the team. He opened the insight map and observed that a point corresponds to a person. There really isn't one. Call. Lu Han disappeared in front of the team like the wind, and did not speak from the beginning to the end. The ninjas who didn't dare to breathe, look at me and look at you one by one. There were gradually noisy discussions in the team, and suddenly they screamed to attract everyone's attention. Hangguang. He is Hangguang. It must be him. Shui Bin's thought about it. Without any evidence, he calculated it by the method of exclusion. Can quickly kill Danzo, skillful in using the knife, thin and cold in temperament, only the Captain Hangguang of Konoha Anbu, who has been in the limelight recently, meets so many conditions. Danzo is Konoha missing nin. Hangguang came to assassinate him, justifiably. If it is a powerhouse of other forces, finding Danzo is also to win over, rather than kill directly. Hangguang, is that him? That's right, it's probably him. I'll just say, how could such a strong man suddenly appear? No wonder, it turned out to be Cold Light. Hangguang once killed Kazekage, the third generation of eyes, and at the same time severely damaged the demigod and Hanzo. He is already one of the most powerful people in the world. In another place in the forest, Lu Han appeared out of thin air, turned off the angry blood state, and quickly restrained his breath. The little white man grew out of a tree next to him and said in a low voice, I didn't find that child, maybe he was killed by Danzo. White Zetsu knew the real situation, but he definitely wouldn't tell Lu Han. Word. Lu Han glanced at White Zetsu and said, I will go back to Konoha first, give Danzo's head to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and tell Uchiha Madara that I will meet him again. I'll tell you, White Zetsu said, then retreated into the tree and disappeared. Before going on the road again, Lu Han habitually opened the insight map and glanced at it. His expression changed suddenly. He turned around and looked to the east. There were more than a dozen Yuhi points in the east. Near the big Yuhi point. Third generation of the village of Kurigakure, the land of water, level 60 gold boss, Boiling Rain. Boiling Rain is coming to the country of Vortex. 4 years ago, Lu Han, Senju Senluo, Orochimaru, and Hyuga Heian joined forces to fight Boiling Rain in the southwestern mountains of the land of Vortex. At that time, Boiling Rain was rated as a 60-level white-silver boss, not Mizukage, but Mizukage's assistant. Lu Han almost killed him. Boyu lost his body, and was resurrected in the forbidden area of the Ghost Lamp clan in Kurigakure village. According to Uzumaki Mito, his strength will be regressed, but his cultivation experience is still there and can be recovered through cultivation. 4 years later, Boiling Yu not only regained all of his strength, but also improved to a higher level. In the place where Danzo died, more than 100 ninjas quarreled, and there was some confusion. Someone wanted to take over the team, but there was not enough strength to shock. In fact, under the high-pressure rule of Danzo, many people have long thought of leaving. Now that they have a chance, they don't want to go, because Danzo is dead and so are his cronies, who will be the new ruler. A few guys whose strength is close to the elite Jonin have their minds alive. Seeing the chaos around him, Shui Bins could only sigh to himself. Still too late. If the people from Kurigakure village can come here earlier, Danzo might not die, and a living Danzo will be worth winning. Call, call, call. Not far from the bloody open space, more than 20 figures appeared one after another, and the one in the front was wearing a gray robe. Chapter-621 Mizukage Boiling Rain. The aura generated by the flower rain cutting technique just released is too strong. Even if Boiling Rain does not have a special induction technique, he can still feel the power generated by this powerful S-level futon, wind-style, forbidden technique. More than 100 people who were still arguing in a mess, all stopped after Boiling Rain in a gray robe appeared, and they all became cautious. They did not know Boiling Rain dressed in mysterious clothes. Behind the rain, the 7 closest ninjas to him are unknown. Those 7 ninja knives with different shapes have been the nightmare of the country of Vortex for a long time. Luhan once destroyed the 7 people of the ninja knives of the mist, and most of them died in his hands, but as long as the knives are still there, the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist will come out. 7 fierce ninjas surrounded the gray-robed man respectfully. The identity of the gray-robed man has been revealed, because the 7 people belong to Anbu, Kurigakure village, and Anbu directly belongs to Mizukage. Mizukage 3, Boiling Rain. Boiling Rain glanced around, the cold breath spread rapidly, and his brows were deeply wrinkled. Shui Bins was overjoyed when he saw Boyu, took out the Kurigakure village forehead guard from his luggage and put it on, then hurried out of the crowd, knelt in front of Boyu on one knee and said quickly, "Kurigakure Anbu Scout, Shui Bins has seen Mizukage, Sama." Quote. What Shui Bins didn't expect was that while he was kneeling down and bowing to Boiling Yu, there was another person walking out of the team. This person looked extremely young, probably under 20 years old, with a small stature. Shui Bins knew him. It's called Riverside. The young man also quickly came to Boyu, knelt down on one knee and said, "Kurigakure Scout, Gaidong Hujien, I have seen Lord Mizukage." Shui Bins glanced at Gaidong Hujien in amazement. He really didn't know that this young man was also a Kurigakure spy, and he didn't know how many people in the village had been thrown into the country of Vortex. What just happened here? A low voice came from under the gray kabuto hat. Go back to your lord. Gaidong Hujien spoke first. Just now, a mysterious powerhouse appeared and killed Danzo within 20 moves. His body was covered in blood mist, making it impossible to see his true identity. Later, he released an S-level futon, wind-style, forbidden technique Wayuki, killed all of Danzo's cronies. He seemed to be looking for something, looked around the team, but couldn't find it, then left. Boiling Rain and the people he brought changed color, especially the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. The stronger the strength, the more difficult it is to kill the strong. Danzo defected to Konoha village under the attack of Sarutobi Hiruzen. He was killed by someone with 20 strokes. Blood fog. Boiling Yu was also shocked and muttered. In fact, if he is replaced, as long as the opportunity is right, he can kill Danzo in 20 moves under the condition of sneak attack. He still has this confidence, and even if the opportunity is perfect, he can make some arrangements. Inside can be lore. Danzo Grandmaster has many bizarre spells, so is Boiling Rain. But the strength of this ninja world is comparable to or even higher than that of Boiling Rain. How many of them are there? Boiling Rain is thinking. No one dared to speak out. In the messy ninja team, some people were already praying for Boiling Yu to leave soon. The names Danzo and Boiling Yu gave them a lot of shock. People. Some people are afraid of being discovered by Boiling Yu. They come from Sunagakure village, Iwagakure village, Omegakure village and other forces. They are all hidden spies. Like Mizubans, they have already passed the news of the discovery of Danzo, but it is the closest to Kurigakure village, so it is Boiling Rain. Come first. Lord Mizukage, this subordinate knows who that person is. Mizubans said cautiously. Oh, Boiling Yu looked at Shui Bins. Who is it? At present, many ninja villages and ninja forces in the ninja world are looking for Danzo, not to kill Danzo, but to win him over. Danzo has served as Hokage's assistant for a decade or two and knows everything about Akatsuki Konoha. Konoha strikes. I think Mizukage-sama is also thinking like that. Yeah, Boiling Yu responded with a nasal voice. Therefore, the only people who can suddenly appear and kill Danzo without asking questions are the Konoha ninjas. And they are also ninjas who are good at swordsmanship. Hangguang, Boiling Yu exclaimed directly. The reason why he didn't guess it was Konoha White Fang was because there were rumors that Hangguang had a grudge against Danzo, and Hangguang had been in too much limelight recently. When people thought of the strong Konoha, they first thought it as cold light. My subordinates think it's cold light, Shui Bin said. Hangguang, Boiyu bit Kiba's teeth and clenched his fists involuntarily. His whole body trembled with excitement. 4 years ago, during a battle in the southwest mountains, Hangguang almost killed him. If it wasn't for the fact that he had the blood of the Ghost Lamp clan, he practiced the Ghost Lamp clan. Life and death forbidden technique is really dead. An inseparable hatred. Boiling Yu's thoughts turned 1,000 times. He was estimating the strength of his side. In addition to himself and the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword, Boiling Rain also brought more than 10 Kurigakure powerhouses. He was thinking about the situation where Danzo would not follow. Next, there are more than 20 people in total to fight against the root organization under Danzo, which is enough to crush the root organization. Can you fight against the cold light? Hangguang is already recognized as the next generation of Hokage in the ninja world, and has the hope of becoming the new god of ninja world. If he can kill him, Kurigakure can not only damage Konoha, but also draw Omegakure, Sunagakure, and Kumogakure villages into allies. The ideal situation by then would be to besiege Konoha. Konoha is over. Boiling Yu closed his eyes and folded his hands together, and he did not move like an old monk in meditation, but strange and strong chakra fluctuations spread from him and swept in all directions. His perception technique has been further developed, and the effect is stronger. Yuhi points on the insight map and thought for a long time. He was considering whether to make trouble with Boiling Yu. In fact, he didn't want to make trouble. Konoha and Kurigakure village had long since truce. Kurigakure didn't even participate in the ninja war. He could have troubled Konoha during the ninja war, but he didn't. And the war in the Land of Rain has reached a critical period. Forget it. After thinking for a long time, Luhan made a decision and disappeared. At the same time, Boiling Yu, who was looking around, suddenly opened his eyes. He felt the breath of cold light, and his chakra fluctuated. Over there, chase. Chapter 0626 really looking for death. Luhan really didn't want to trouble Boiling Yu. It would be a meaningless battle. He didn't want to drag Kurigakure village into the Ninja World War. During the critical period, Konoha had enough enemies. But apparently Boiling Yu didn't want to let him go. The insight map shows that more than 20 Yuhi points, led by Dai Yuhi Point Boyu, are rapidly approaching the center of the map. Luhan stopped after moving twice in a row, frowned at the insight map, then turned to look east again. Boyu had left a deep impression on him. He was a guy who was extremely difficult to kill, and he was very interested in all kinds of strange things. The research on weird techniques is not only the best in Kurigakure, but also in the ninja world. However, Luhan didn't think that Boiling Yu would be his opponent, although it was a hassle to have other people around him. After all, the flower rain cutting technique stored in the magic ring of 10,000 techniques had already been used up. It's really courting death, Luhan muttered and disappeared into the forest again. Appearing in another place, he took out 3 Hiraishin kunai, threw one into the roots of the tree covered by the grass, threw one into the grass, and threw the third on the tree. Disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing. Luhan is making arrangements. His approach to the technique of Hiraishin has always been slow, and he is reluctant to buy more scrolls of Hiraishin to improve his level, so he can't do that kind of throwing one. With a Hiraishin kunai, you can take down a group of ninjas. Arrange in advance. After Boiling Yu sensed Luhan, he locked his breath at a distance of only a few kilometers. This lock would not cause him to lose his target. He continued to approach Luhan and felt that Luhan's breath became erratic. Accelerate, don't let him run away. Boiling Yu shouted loudly. He doesn't think that this is a sheep entering the tiger's mouth, The power of Han Guang has long been spread throughout the ninja world, but many people are skeptical about it. Being strong is one thing, and being strong is another thing. Hanzo said that Han Guang killed him. The third generation of Hokage, but also cut off one of his arms. Is this possible? Possible. The possible meaning is that it may be true, and it may be false. Hanzo killed Hokage, the third generation, and then blamed Hangguang. After all, Hangguang has always been missing, and the missing person naturally has no way to defend himself. Allies, it is often used to betray. At present, Boiling Yu has determined that that person is Han Guang, and he is familiar with the breath of Han Guang, but he is skeptical about the fact that Han Guang has defeated two supreme powerhouses at the same time. In fact, his suspicions were correct. The strength to defeat Hanzo and Hokage 3 at the same time. Hokage 3 was killed by his conspiracy, not killed in head-to-head combat. However, Boiling Yu still underestimated the strength of Han Guang. In the lush forest, the towering trees that have been growing for hundreds of years exude the momentum of Hiroshi. Lu Han is black-clothed and iron-faced. Call, woohoo _. When Boiling Yu appeared, more than 20 other people appeared out of thin air. Kiba, needles, kabuto cuts, shark muscles, flatfish, beheading knives, droplets, 7 knives, 7 people. Lu Han was the first to notice. It's not boiling rain, it's the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. There are 7 people in the new generation of ninja knives. Lu Han just wanted to see if there are any acquaintances, that is, the characters in the original book, but no, they are all strangers. 6 ultra-elite bosses, plus a cage level. Member of the group of 7 who entered the cage level, a level 60 elite, who is already an old acquaintance of Lu Han, and the only woman in the group of 7, who was the number 2 figure in the group of 7 people of the Blade of Ninja of the Mist 4 years ago. Zhang Haim, who was promoted to captain after Lu Han beheaded Munashi Ghost 7. Lu Han had never been greedy for those 7 ninja knives before, because he had better ones, but now he has changed his mind. The knife is the root of the 7 ninjas of the Misty Ninja Sword. As long as the sword is still there, the 7 ninjas will always exist, and even if they die, they can be rebuilt. And without the sword, even if the people are still there, they are not the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword. Hangguang, long time no see, Boiling Yu said in a low voice, staring at Lu Han, like a hungry wolf about to devour. Lu Han had dealt him unprecedented damage. Although he still became a Mizukage with his prestige, the regression of his strength forced him to dormant. A shadow who was not strong enough would not be able to lead Ninja Village to start a war, because that shadow is too easy. If you are assassinated, if you die, there will be trouble. The village of Kurigakure is still a cloud of masters, but over the past few years, Boiling Yu has been cautious. Cold light is the shame of his life. The art of reincarnation and hydration, you rely on this to survive, right? Lu Han asked hoarsely. This was his question. Uzumaki Mito said it was this art, but it has never been confirmed. Who told you? Boiling Yu didn't deny it. A respectable old man. Uzumaki Mito. Yes, Mito-sama knows you very well. It's a pity she's dead. She went very peacefully. The voices of the two are very calm, without a trace of anger, but the atmosphere has been suppressed to the ultimate. At this time, no matter who has extra moves, it will cause a war. This forest is not bad. Although the water vapor is a little heavier, the dead can't feel it. This place is very suitable for your cemetery. Boy Yu said. Where did your confidence come from? Ha, Lu Han smiled. Lu Han disappeared. The boiling rain is gone. The two appeared at a height of 100 meters at the same time. Hundreds of ice cones condensed in front of Boy Yu and roared towards Lu Han. Lu Han spit out a raging flame, and the flame melted the ice cone and swept toward the boiling rain. The collision of water and fire, flames erupted in the sky, and was shrouded in rich water vapor. The two disappeared into the sky at the same time and appeared in the forest, 100 meters apart. Lu Han's swordsmanship is useless, because Boy Yu doesn't like close combat, so he seldom fights close combat with others. Sweden, water style, vortex knife. Boiling rain hand seal, spit out a huge amount of water. The water rushed through the forest like a torrent, and a spunlace flew out from the water surface, hitting Lu Han overwhelmingly. Do not doubt the power of water. When the flood is raging, manpower is insignificant. As long as the impact force is sufficient, even a mountain will be destroyed by the water waves. Kaden, fire style, majestic destroyer flame, great fire annihilation. Lu Han hand seal, flames erupted in the forest. More than 20 Kurigakure ninjas scattered, surrounded Shang Lu Han. Chapter 0627 _ You were wrong. The LV9 Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation and the S-Level Sweden, Water Style, Against Boiling Rain are all large area attack ninjutsu. At the moment when the monstrous waves and the fiery flames intersected, a terrifying shock wave was generated. The forest turned into a steamer in an instant, filled with water vapor, the light and space were distorted, the ground crumbled, the forest, trees, soil and rocks they were all torn and shattered, and the terrifying roar almost pierced people's eardrums. Lu Han was retreating, and Boiling Yu was also retreating. Doden, Earth Style, Big Rock Thorn. I don't know which guy released the A-level Doden, Earth Style, ninjutsu. Lu Han was retreating, but the ground under his feet suddenly cracked, and countless thorns sprang from the ground. Lu Han rose to the sky, dodging the attack from the ground. Call, 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 call. 5 figures appeared around Lu Han out of thin air, with the same face, the same gaze, the same knife. Lu Han turned around with a knife, and the light of the knife was like a half moon, severing the 5 figures at once. Boom. Is a clone. These 5 figures all burst into flames, rendering the sky into a sea of fire. Lu Han opened up, and the technique of Hiraishin made him disappear into the air before being swallowed up by the flames. This is the disadvantage of one person fighting a group of strong men. They are all experienced ninja strong men, even the weakest one. It can also release S-rank ninjutsu. Once they enter their rhythm, they will be continuously attacked by ninjutsu. In the ninjutsu confrontation, Lu Han did not have the strength of 12 or 20. Therefore, he was very annoying in one-to-many battles. If it was a group of trash fish, it would be okay to say, but these people are not trash fish. Every one of them is a master with a name and a surname. After the thick fog dissipated, there were many very wide open spaces in the forest. In fact, if it was not necessary, neither Boiling Yu nor Lu Han would be willing to use this kind of ninjutsu method to fight, and no one would be hurt. No one, but it will consume a lot of chakra. Lu Han is gone. Over there, Boiling Yu shouted, pointing to the northwest. More than 20 ninjas chased the northwest in their own way. The boiling rain was the fastest. He locked on Lu Han and appeared in front of Lu Han first. Without saying a word, he quickly hand-sealed. Standing on the bluestone, Lu Han gave Feiyu a mocking look, and then disappeared in front of him. Super Elite Jonin with a strength rating of 50 White Silver Boss rushed forward. Lu Han Ghost appeared behind him, and LV9 Ultimate Rasengan blasted out. At a critical moment, the ninja's body became twisted, as if to flee. However, in such a situation that the gust of wind brought by Rasengan made the space very unstable, other than the super godlike telekinesis technique of Hiraishin, S technique, ordinary space-type telekinesis techniques could not be used at all. Boom. The ninja was hit in the back by LV9 Ultimate Rasengan, and it shattered into pieces, blood dripping into the sky. Lu Han disappeared. This forest has been arranged by him. Hiraishin Kunai is not densely distributed, so the coverage area is very large. He relies on the insight map to determine the location of the enemy. Lu Han can take action. Sneak attack. It's a sneak attack. The battle of ninjas is a contest between life and death. This is not a game, so the means of winning is not important, the important thing is to win. In just a few minutes, Lu Han killed 7 people in a row. Including 2 members of the 7 members of the Ninja Blade of Mist, Lu Han put it into the space backpack as soon as he got the special ninja blade, and no one could call him away. Boiling Yu was so angry that he was going mad. He was even more sure that Han Guang's strength was not as powerful as the rumors said, but he couldn't do anything about Lu Han. Lu Han always avoided him. Every time he rushed over, it was too late. The reason why Lu Han didn't fight with Boiling Yu was because he couldn't kill this guy quickly. Once he was dragged by him, others would surround him, and 10 or 20 people would release S-rank ninjutsu at the same time, which was terrifying to think about. You must know that the elite Jonin with some genius can release S-level ninjutsu, and there are no elite Jonin here, most of them are super elite, and a few have reached cage level strength. Get out of here, stay away. When Lu Han killed the 9th person, Bu Yu finally made a decision. He couldn't die anymore. The people he brought were very important, not only their strength, but also their identities. Almost all of them were high-level clan leaders. There are 3 patriarchs of middle-level tribes. Although Boiling Rain is a Mizukage, he can be said to be the Mizukage with the lowest prestige among the Mizukages of all dynasties. For several years, the village of Kurigakure has been in a state of blockade, and the Ninja World War has not been involved. There is a good chance to win the country of the Vortex, but nothing has been done. The martial arts faction in the village has a lot of complaints about Boiling Yu. He wanted to rely on this opportunity to subdue Danzo, enhance his prestige, and provoke a war to become the leader of the Ninja War. But Danzo has been killed by Han Guang, and the chance is gone. If it's gone, it's gone, but if most of these people are killed or injured, Boiling Yu's Mizukage won't do it. Even the Ghost Lamp clan will not necessarily support him in the anger of the public. Ninjas are not afraid of fighting, but they are simply killed, but they cannot fight back, which is unnecessary. Receiving the order of Boiling Rain, more than a dozen strong Kurigakure evacuated. They won't go too far. They only need to leave the battlefield with Boiling Rain. They understand that Boiling Yu wants to kill Hengguang alone. Once he succeeds, the prestige he gains is even greater than that of conquering Danzo. Idiot. Lu Han couldn't understand where Boiling Yu got his courage, he was just courting death. The insight map showed that the other Kurigakure powerhouses all retreated 3 kilometers away. Lu Han faced Boiling Yu again, in the open space formed after the ninjutsu confrontation. Hengguang, the deep hatred in the sea of blood, you are already the mortal enemy of Kurigakure village. This is not the hatred between Kurigakure and Konoha, but the hatred between Kurigakure and you alone. You killed people who shouldn't be killed. Boiling Yu said fiercely. Aren't you surprised? Why am I able to hunt down Hanzo? Why am I able to kill Kazekage, the 3rd generation? Lu Han said timidly, aren't you wondering? It's just a rumor. Hanzo blamed you. Do you really dare to admit it? Ha, you think so? Then I tell you, you were wrong. As soon as the words fell, blood mist erupted from Lu Han's body in vain, and he sprinted to the depths of Boiling Rain in an instant. The sword light was like thunder. Chapter 0628 Mangekyo and Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. The blood mist filled the air, and the sudden rush of salty aura surprised Bo Yu, because Lu Han's speed had more than doubled. You must know that Lu Han's speed, which was already fast before, was doubled, and it was as fast as lightning. Boiling Yu let out an angry sound, his body shrank down and flashed, and it turned into a stream of water. Lu Han's knife light slashed through the water stream, the knife in the air rubbed extremely hot temperature, and a white mist rose from the water stream. The water flowed 100 meters away and turned into Boiling Rain's body, with a slightly burnt smell on his body. Couldn't kill him. Lu Han is not surprised. At this level of strength, it is very difficult to kill each other in seconds. Lu Han was able to kill Yan in a single second because the ability of Yan is too simple, and Lu Han has already grasped the smoke. The way he fought, the smoke turned into smoke and buried him. But Boiling Rain is different. This guy's fighting power is not ordinary. Although he hasn't broken the level 70 bottleneck, his ability to dodge and escape with his unpredictable forbidden techniques is definitely not comparable to smoke. What kind of technique is this? Boiling Yu looked at Lu Han with uncertain eyes. Destroy your art. Lu Han responded with an icy voice and turned into blood again. Yuhi lightning. He launched an inhumane pursuit of Boiling Yu. Yes, it can only be described by the word cruelty. One-on-one, Boiling Yu is not Lu Han's opponent at all. He can only avoid Lu Han's edge time and time again, but he did not give up fighting back. Sweetened, water style, eightfold mirror. Hand seal in an instant. He turned around and spewed out a large amount of water. Lu Han chased after him. The light of the knife seemed to tear the space apart, and the sound of the shock was like thunder, breaking the five-fold mirror. There is still a triple mirror left. It is not that Lu Han's knife is not powerful enough, but that the knife is not long enough. Approaching again, the knife was fired again, and finally the triple mirror was broken in an instant, and at the same time, Boiling Rain also completed the hand seal, and black light flashed in his eyes under the fat gray kabuto hat. Secret art. The art of the Key Corpse Soul Realm. A black light erupted from the hands of Boiling Rain's combined hands, and countless ghosts rushed towards Lu Han. At this moment, Lu Han, who was wielding the knife, felt that Boiling Rain was getting farther and farther away from him. The sky became gray, and the surroundings were scorched and empty. Ghostly. It's a fantasy. Mangekyo. Humph. Boiling Yu showed a cruel smile. This technique seems to be demonic illusion, but in fact it is not demonic illusion, but a summoning technique. Fake, in fact, are real ghosts, Sharingan can't see through. And because this is a projection, it can't really cause any damage to the target. In fact, as long as the target is fast enough and leaves this area immediately, the spell can be cracked, but who can think of it right away? The projection of the different space affected Lu Han's sight, but it could not be used as a Boiling Rain for the caster. Die! Boiling Yu snorted hoarsely, and more than 10 chains of black curse imprints stretched out from behind and shot towards Lu Han. This technique. Lu Han narrowed his eyes slightly, suddenly raised his hand to cover his right eye, and his left eye, Mangekyo, was spinning rapidly. Heaven and earth move. Lu Han immediately broke away from the projection world, and the surroundings became real. At the same time, Boiling Yu himself fell into the projection world, but this technique was created by him and could not have any effect on him. He was surprised and then disappeared. Lu Han chased Boiling Rain into the forest. Boiling Rain appeared out of thin air, and Lu Han also appeared out of thin air. A half-meter-long wound was torn behind Boiling Rain, and the flesh and blood were rolled. Someone! Boiling Yu screamed mournfully before disappearing. Under the influence of chakra, the sound spread all over the forest, and the 7 Kurigakure powerhouses who were far away from this area all roared and rushed over. It would have been a mistake to let them go before the rain boiled. Lu Han stopped chasing Boiling Yu, and the blood surging all over his body slowly subsided. Release the rage state. The blood rage state is not suitable for group battles, because in this state, Lu Han can't perform ninjutsu, only Kekkei Genkei is not affected. It is very dangerous to not be able to perform magic. You must know that many techniques are beyond the scope of speed, not to say if you move fast, you will definitely be able to dodge. Boiling stood under a tree 100 meters away, looking at Lu Han with bloodshot eyes. The flesh and blood at the wound on his back was squirming and the wound was healing. Hangguang, do you know? You are now the target of public criticism. Sunagakure is going to kill you. Omegakure is going to kill you. Iwagakure gave up cooperation with Konoha because of you. It's all because of you. Konoha's situation is very bad. Konoha is about to be defeated. You are sinner. Boiling Yu said gloomily, is this provocation? Psychological offensive? Lord Boiling Yu, why are you wasting your time with me? If you kill me, that's enough. Lu Han's tone was full of sarcasm. You know that I can't be influenced by your words, yet you still say this kind of nonsense. I believe, with your wisdom, there must be some purpose to talk nonsense. Let me guess. Just as Lu Han spoke, a phantom appeared behind Lu Han, and the pitch-black dagger silently stabbed at the back of Lu Han's head. There is no breath. No sound. No wind. Are you trying to attract my attention? There was a hint of gloom in Lu Han's voice. Same moment. Lu Han's upper and lower elbows, spine, knees, ribs, etc., all exploded with sharp bone spurs. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, Dance of the Golden Amber. Kai, 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 Kai. There was a piercing voice behind Luhan, and the phantom who was about to complete the assassination of Luhan had no time to dodge, and was pierced by several bone spurs more than a meter thick in his arms. Boiling Yu looked horrified. He didn't understand why Hengwang had Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, and he couldn't understand why Hengwang had Sharingan and Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, at the same time. There was a strange chakra fluctuation on Luhan's body. At this time, Luhan's control of chakra had reached pervert's strength, but when he released this technique, he still inevitably gave off a trace of breath. Because this technique is so scary. Be careful below, Boiling Yu cried out in a mournful voice. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, Dance of Early Fern. Boom. In the blink of an eye, a huge earthquake turned a radius of several kilometers into a forest of bones. Chapter 0629 Back to Konoha. As a trump card, Luhan has always been very cautious about the use of Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. In his opinion, the biggest role of Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, is to surprise. As long as people stand on the ground, they will be affected by Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. But for the strong, Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, is not difficult to defend or dodge a purely hard physical attack. Luhan chose the most suitable opportunity to release Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, at the cost of consuming 80% of chakra. Like an earth dragon turning over, countless white bone spurs sprang out from the shaking earth, each of which was nearly 10 meters long, thicker than a human leg, and the sharpest tip was like a thin needle. All are within attack range. Boiling Yu's eyes were splitting, and his chakra perception was the most sensitive, so he predicted that Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, would appear and jumped up in advance, while the others, Boiling Yu had already seen, the young patriarch of the Teodi clan, a genius ninja only 26 years old, Moody Kizuo was pierced by a bone spur in the process of jumping, and the user of the 7 Hiba knives of the Mist Ninja Sword, Kakigawaki, the first powerhouse of the Sukazan family Sukazan Wave C. Not everyone can predict it. The strength of the combat power does not mean that the chakra can be perceived abnormally, and the speed of jumping is not necessarily faster than the speed of the bone spurs from the ground. The most important thing is that Zazanji dance is an art with no upper limit of power. The more chakra output, the greater the impact. Hengwang has been recognized as a superpower. Even if his chakra volume is not outstanding among many superpowers, it is still much more than a powerhouse in the general sense. With an attack range of several kilometers in a radius, even if it is boiling rain, it is impossible to leave this area in an instant, let alone other people. Luhan hid in the Bonethorn forest, and the insight map showed that 3 Yuhi points disappeared immediately and were instantly killed. How many people were injured, Luhan still can't be sure. The boiling rain rushed to a height of 100 meters, overlooking the earth. The ground was white, and there were bone spurs as far as he could see. He yelled wildly, and the Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, ability displayed by the cold light had destroyed his confidence in victory. But many people have died, he can't just leave, there must be an understanding. Secret Art Boiling Rain. Boiling Rain's famed stunt. Raindrops with corrosive effects flew like bullets into the bone forest, targeting exactly where Luhan was hiding. Kurigakure powerhouses who jumped into the air also used their own methods. Some cast futon wind style, and wanted to glide out of the area of the bone forest first, and some cast Doden earth style using Doden earth style. The earth style attack tore out a blank in the forest of bones on the ground, and some flashed in the air with the blinking technique. No one chose to go directly back to the ground, because the ground was already Luhan's home ground. Boiling rain is coming. Luhan had just drank 2 treasures potions to restore chakra to more than 80%. Then he disappeared and the earth roared. The bullet-like raindrops smashed the bone spurs and smashed the earth into potholes. Smoke rises, obscuring everything. In another part of the bone forest, Luhan appeared out of thin air. In the grass under his feet, there was a Hiraishin kunai. As long as it is arranged in advance, it is easy to dodge the attack of the boiling rain. Lu Han opened the insight map and glanced at it again. He determined the location of the nearest Yuhi point, and then disappeared again. When he flashed again, it was already the edge of the bone forest. The strong Kurigakure who made good use of futon wind style just now. Glide and land. Lu Han flashed forward and slashed down. He's cleaning again. He is more willing to kill these little minions than to kill Boyu. From two perspectives, killing all these strong Kurigakure is more beneficial than killing only one Boyu. The first is the issue of reputation. Han has already killed the third-generation Kazekage. Compared with the third-generation Kazekage, Boiling Yu's reputation and strength are also too low. If it was meant for his identity as Mizukage, Lu Han's killing him would not have helped his reputation much. But killing a group of powerful people with names is different. The outside world will see them as a whole. They are the core strength of Kurigakure. Killing them will directly shake the foundation of Kurigakure. The second is that once they're all dead, Kurigukare's stability is inevitable, and one death boiling rain isn't enough to create that impression. Of course, the best outcome is to kill them all. But the ghost knows whether Boiling Yu will run away. This guy's ability to run is also a must. He must kill more people before Boiling Yu realizes that there is no hope in this battle and decides to run away. After losing the supply of chakra, the bone spurs disappeared quickly, leaving a devastated land, and several kilometers of forests were destroyed. This serpentine coastal forest from west to east seemed to be cut off. After Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse attacked, all the ninjas in Kurigakure scattered, and several people were injured to varying degrees, which gave Lu Han a chance to break through. Boiling Yu was desperately chasing after him, and he could feel that one after another, the chakra fluctuations he was familiar with completely disappeared. Before they had appeared, the disappearance of life breath and the occasional screams hit his nerves again and again. He couldn't catch up with Lu Han, and there were Hiraishin Kanai everywhere. If Lu Han could catch up with him, it would be hell. Finally, except for Boiling Yu, there were still 4 people left alive, and Boiling Yu collapsed. Withdraw! Boiling Yu screamed sharply, then disappeared. Lu Han stopped and looked at the insight map. Counting the boiling rain, there were 5 people fleeing from different directions, and he didn't chase any of them. It's boring. He didn't want to fight this battle in the first place. It would waste a lot of time to chase and kill, and he has already calculated that this time Kurigakure suffered heavy losses. Boiling Yu returned to the village of Kurigakure, and he would definitely be criticized. There will be turbulence. From Konoha's point of view, this is Lu Han's achievement. One day later, Lu Han quietly returned to Konoha. The matter of the Kingdom of Vortex had not yet reached Konoha, so the focus of discussion in Konoha village was still the matter of Han Guang's disappearance. Hokage office. Dong dong. Hearing the knock on the door, Sarutobi, who was reading the information, said without looking up, "Come in." Lu Han pushed open the door and walked in. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't look at him, he walked directly to the desk, took out the bag with Danzo's head from the space backpack, and threw it on the table with a bang. "Lord Hokage, I'm back," Lu Han said calmly. Chapter 0630-Daring. Sarutobi Hiruzen froze for a moment, and the whole person seemed to freeze. After a while, he suddenly raised his head and looked at Lu Han, who was in front of the desk with a gleam in his eyes. This time, Lu Han didn't leave Konoha for a long time. It was less than 20 days before and after, but it caused the whole ninja world to be turbulent. From the perspective of Lu Han's attire, it is no different from the day he left, with long boots and black robes, a mask covering his face, and a dagger hanging diagonally, but his spirit and spirit are completely different. He has been dormant for 3 years. The sharpness of man. Sarutobi Hiruzen has already set off a storm in his heart, and the return of the cold light will definitely affect the ninja world again. At this moment, he thought of all kinds of possible changes, but on the surface he was still calm and majestic. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, slowly smile. "Just come back." Sarutobi Hiruzen was like a kind elder, looking at Lu Han with a look of relief. Lu Han sneered again and again in his heart. From the moment he knew that Danzo defected Konoha, he understood that Sarutobi Hiruzen chose Danzo, and the two had drifted apart. The baggage on the table was soaked with blood, and the space-time in the space backpack was frozen. He cut off Danzo's head and put it directly into the space backpack. He didn't take it out until he returned to Konoha and packed it with the package, so the head was still fresh. The rich bloody smell has dissipated. Throwing the bloody baggage directly on the table is very rude, but Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't mind. Anyone who has experienced life and death twists and turns will always become weird in a short period of time. For example, a ninja who has just killed someone on the battlefield will have there as murderousness, which is an interchange. Lu Han cut 3 generations of Kazekage for Konoha outside, and severely damaged the demigods and Hanzo. There were twists and turns along the way, and there were some differences. Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally wouldn't mind. Sarutobi Hiruzen could naturally see what was in the bag, so he asked, the head of the 3rd generation Kazekage. No, Lu Han replied, the 3rd generation of Kazekage died under the attack of the S-level forbidden technique, and there are no bones left. Oh, Sarutobi Hiruzen was taken aback, since it wasn't the head of Kazekage 3, who else was worth bringing back? He reached out and hooked the burden, and with a single hook, he untied it. The soft cloth slipped off, revealing the pale head, and the bloodshot eyes were still open. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly got up. The office fell into a dead silence. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened, all the hairs on his back stood up, his hair moved without wind, and the hand holding the corner of the table trembled slightly. Danzo. Danzo's head. After my subordinate left the land of rain, I heard that Danzo betrayed the village and disappeared without a trace. This traitor knows too many secrets about Akatsuki and Konoha. If he is allowed to wander, he may cause irreparable damage to the village. As Captain Anbu, I have an obligation to eradicate such scourges for the village, and I came home so late to find him. Lu Han ignored Sarutobi Hiruzen's face and said to himself, fortunately, God favors me, my subordinate is in the country of Vortex. If the traitor is found in the territory, he will be beheaded. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was gloomy and terrifying. He slowly raised his hand and stroked Danzo's eyes, making him close them. Then he turned to look at Lu Han little by little. The blue veins on his neck burst out. At this moment, he did not hide himself. His heart ached, and he didn't even hide his hatred for Lu Han. Looking at Lu Han's eyes, it seems that he wants to eat people. Lu Han looked directly at Sarutobi Hiruzen without fear, and Sarutobi Hiruzen even saw sneer in Lu Han's eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that Hengguang was not a fool. On the contrary, he was extremely intelligent. He let Danzo leave. Hengguang must understand the intention. Sarutobi Hiruzen never thought that Hengguang would kill Danzo, because he had already made concessions. Although he chose to let Danzo go to survive, but also decided to cultivate Hengguang with all his strength. But I didn't expect that Hengguang did such an amazing job. Hengguang has been daring to such a degree. Good. Well done. Sarutobi Hiruzen almost bit Kiba. No matter what he thought or arranged secretly, on the surface, Danzo really betrayed Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen also issued a warrant for Danzo. Hengguang killed Danzo. No one can say a typo. Missing nin, die. This is the accepted rule of the ninja world. In the huge and empty practice ground, Tsunade sat cross-legged on the futon, with gentle chakra fluctuations all over his body, and the diamond-shaped mark on his eyebrows shone with brilliance. As early as more than 2 years ago, Lu Han passed the creation and regeneration to her, and made up the story of getting this technique. Bang! The door was suddenly pushed open. Hyuga Luo Ningfei ran in and shouted, "Sister, come again, come and recognize." Hyuga Luo Ning was about to cry, her voice trembling. Tsunade disappeared and immediately appeared beside Hyuga Luo Ning. Without any nonsense, go. The two came to the yard. There were already many people in the yard, all dressed in black robe masks. 12 Anbu ninjas formed a circle. Between them, there were 4 corpses on the ground. The 4 corpses looked miserable. 2 were burnt to death and had been carbonized. 1 had no head. The 4th batch. Since Han Guang disappeared, Anbu will send some corpses every few days to identify them to Tsunade. These corpses are all unclaimed or unidentified corpses from outside. It is natural for Tsunade to identify them to confirm whether they are inside or not. There is cold light. Although news of Hangguang was sent back some time ago, this matter has not stopped. The corpse is not in shape, and the height and shape can be generally confirmed, but even Anbu can't confirm whether it is Hangguang. Tsunade is Konoha's strongest medical ninja and Hangguang's wife. Naturally, there is a way. Hyuga Luo Ning in a white dress followed behind Tsunade, and gradually began to cry. Every time she identified a body, she would cry again, and she cried more and more every time. I was really afraid. Tsunade was much calmer than Hyuga Luo Ning. Because almost 10 days ago, she had received a letter, written by Lu Han and sent by White Zetsu, and the letter appeared directly on the table, so Tsunade had never seen White Zetsu. Tsunade knew that Han Guang was working outside, not really missing, but he was a little uneasy. After all, the last time he got the news was 10 days ago. In 10 days, anything can happen. Chapter 0631 _ The cold light is uncontrollable. Lu Han once told Tsunade in a letter to keep it secret, even Hyuga Luo Ning should not tell it for the time being. He was afraid that Sarutobi Hiruzen would get the news. If Sarutobi Hiruzen guessed that Han Guang was going to kill Danzo, Danzo would definitely hide completely and even get the protection of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Master Tsunade. The Anbu ninja greeted in unison, led by Hyuga Bonin. During the period of Han Guang's disappearance, Anbu's affairs, the captain's assistant Sarutobi Yushuan, Hyuga Bonin, and Hokage will personally intervene in major events. Tsunade walked over to the first corpse, clasped his hands together, and a green light flashed from his fingers, then shot out into the first corpse. The Anbu ninjas were very nervous. They wanted to know the captain's news, but they didn't want the corpse in front of them to be Captain Hangguang. Tsunade shook his head quickly. The Anbu ninjas breathed a sigh of relief, and Hyuga Luo Ning stopped crying a little, her big eyes blinked, tears still hanging on her eyelashes. Tsunade walked over to the second corpse, followed by the third. Not at all. There is still the last corpse left, the whole body seems to have been scraped by a knife, there is no good flesh, and it should have been dead for a few days, and the corpse smells faintly. In this case, if you don't need a unique technique to confirm, can't tell the difference at all. Tsunade took a deep breath, and the more she got to the end, the more afraid she became. If she really confirmed it, she didn't know if she would go crazy. Hand seal again, Tsunade prays while performing the spell. Call. A phantom suddenly appeared behind Tsunade, and the phantom turned into a corpse in an instant, but it was almost silent, with faint chakra fluctuations. Tsunade felt it, but she didn't look back, thinking it was an Anbu ninja coming. One last confirmation, Tsunade let out a long breath and dropped his hand. No, not at all, Tsunade said. Atmosphere was very strange. After Tsunade finished speaking, Anbu ninja should take away the corpses immediately, but the Anbu ninjas didn't move, they formed a circle and looked behind Tsunade in surprise. Hyuga Luo Ning suddenly cried out with a, "Wow!" Tsunade turned around suddenly, his eyes widened. Hyuga Luo Ning had already threw herself into Lu Han's arms and burst into tears. See Captain. The Anbu ninjas were so excited that they all got down on one knee. Lu Han hugged Hyuga Luo Ning, and squinted his hands. These guys didn't even wink at all, shouldn't they get out of the way right now? The Anbu ninjas got out right away, with the 4 corpses on the ground. Shortly after the Anbu ninja left, the news that Anbu Captain Han Guang returned to Konoha spread throughout Konoha. Uzumaki Kushina, who was patrolling in the north of the city, rushed home as soon as he got the news. Lu Han was talking to Tsunade when Uzumaki Kushina knocked open the door of the house. Having 2 wives is actually a very annoying thing. For example, Now, Luhan can't favor one over the other, and it is not appropriate to hold anyone in his arms, so Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning are sitting on the left and right of Luhan, snuggling. The eyes of the two women are Yuhi's. Uzumaki Kushina didn't care so much. The crystal tears flew backwards. She ran to Luhan, threw herself into Luhan's arms, beat, and burst into tears. Kushina, after all, is still a child. Luhan finally managed to appease Kushina, but it was a little embarrassing. After all, Kushina was not too young, and she was a girl, and Luhan had just returned, so he had to spend some time with his wife. I couldn't come out, until Hatake Taishuo, who got the news, came to see him, and it was still the same. As Luhan's direct disciple, Hatake Taishuo rushed over as soon as he got the news. After that, Hyuga Huyang, the chief of the main clan of the Hyuga clan, and Uchiha Leiyang, the chief of the Uchiha clan, came one after another, and the mansion was filled with crowds. All the chiefs of Konoha's clans came here, except for a few high-ranking people or the older generation who could be said to be visiting. All the other clan chiefs came to pay their respects. No matter how much older you are than Luhan, you have to salute when you see Luhan. Captain Konoha Anbu, this position is not enough to make those clan chiefs lower their posture, but Luhan killed the third-generation head Kazekage, and Wanli chased and killed Hanzo, which finally hit him hard. This achievement and strength can only be looked up to by them. There are ninjas in Konoha village who are handsome and powerful. As long as they don't go out on missions, they all come to see Luhan. Even Inuzuka, the commander of the garrison army who has always had a bad relationship with Luhan, also came to see him in person, but he didn't stay. Chatted a few words, then said goodbye and left. Han Guang returned with honor. Tsunade decided to put on a big banquet, to wash the dust for Luhan. Whoever came to visit, and who could stay, all stayed. Layout. For a while, Han Guang's home seemed to be the center of Konoha, and the mansion was filled with laughter and compliments. While the Hangguang family was holding a banquet, the atmosphere in the second conference room of the Hokage building was so cold that it was hard to breathe. The silent conference room, with the curtains drawn, was extremely dimly lit. This is a highly confidential small meeting, and only 4 people attended the meeting, namely the third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the advisor Homura Mitokado, the advisor Kaharu Udatane, and Hokage's wife Sarutobi Bawako. These 4 people can be said to be the core decision-makers of Konoha. There should have been 2 more people, Hyuga Huyang and Danzo, but Hyuga Huyang and Hangguang were too tight, so Sarutobi Hiruzen did not inform him, and Danzo. At this moment just put it on the table. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat on the main seat with a gloomy and terrifying face. He had been looking at Danzo's head, and he didn't look away for a long time. The quiet needle drop in the conference room can be heard. Kaharu Udatane's face is also ugly. Sarutobi Lake Biwa is worried, but Homura Mitokado, wearing glasses, has an expressionless face, which makes it difficult to see what's in your heart. The people present are all Danzo's close friends. Since Konoha was established, they have known each other, supported each other, and worked together to create Konoha's glory today. Now, Danzo not only died, but also died in the name of missing Nin. There is no possibility of redress. The cold light is uncontrollable. Kaharu Udatane said coldly. Chapter 0632_hold up. Regarding the matter of Danzo's defection, Konoha executives all know the inside story. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen did not say it, Kaharu Udatane and other Konoha advisors who knew Sarutobi Hiruzen's thoughts well knew what was going on. So Sarutobi Hiruzen gave Danzo a way out. Originally, according to Sarutobi Hiruzen's plan, in a few years, when the limelight passes, some of Hangguang's children will have more concerns. Sarutobi Hiruzen will explain everything to Hangguang, and then he will welcome Danzo back to Konoha. It only needs to be explained to the outside world. Out of the play, Danzo is out on a classified mission, and everything will be fine. Now, Danzo is dead. Sarutobi Hiruzen can no longer name Danzo, because it was none other than Han Guang, the captain of Konoha Anbu, Sarutobi Hiruzen's #1 confidant. Sarutobi Hiruzen can't slap himself in the face. Han Guang couldn't understand that Danzo was helpless when he left Konoha. With his intelligence, he understood everything, but he still killed Danzo. Kaharu Yutane's voice stopped, and he shouted hoarsely, "Damn him. Yu Gong, Danzo has made great contributions to Konoha. After 20 years of ups and downs, Konoha has today's brilliance. Not to mention Danzo's great contribution, it is not much worse." In private, everyone present is Danzo's best friend. Danzo's death pierced everyone's heart. What made them even more uncomfortable was that Danzo didn't die for Konoha and could not enjoy the honor of dying in battle. Konoha's ninjas not only would not remember him, but also scold him. The name of a traitor can never be cleared. The meeting room fell into the silence of the needle falling again, after a long time. There are rumors that Han Guang will be the next generation of Hokage. If credit is given, in this ninja world war, Han Guang will be the first, cut off the third generation of Kazekage, and severely damaged Hanzo of the Salamander. It is certain that he will not betray Konoha. Even if he did something to harm Konoha, I'm afraid no one would believe it. Homura Mitokado adjusted his glasses and said quietly, "Also, the eldest lady of the Hyuga family is his wife, Huyang is close to him, and Uchiha also has an ambiguous relationship with him. He owns Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Leyoung probably knows about this. He himself is Captain Anbu, Master Konoha's core ace unit, Master Konoha's most secret things." "What do you mean?" Kaharu Yutane coldly crossed Homura Mitokado. "How to move him?" Homura Mitokado took it straight, glanced at Kaharu Yutane, and then at Sarutobi Hiruzen. With Lord Hokage's strength, he can certainly be subdued, but if this matter is resolved directly by force, it may lead to civil unrest in Konoha. Even, we, including Lord Hokage, will be questioned. Kaharu Yutane was speechless, but his face was terrifyingly gloomy. Who would have thought that the cold light that had been dormant for several years could become so terrifying? If, in the future, he becomes the Hokage, is it good or bad for me, Konoha? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked the question. "I mustn't let him become Hokage." Kaharu Yutane immediately patted the table and said, "He doesn't have the love of the first Hokage Lord, nor the ability of the second Hokage Lord to work hard. If he becomes Hokage, he will definitely become the second Uchiha Madara, burn the flames of war throughout the ninja world." Excuse. All excuses. In fact, everyone present, whether it is Sarutobi Hiruzen or Kaharu Yutane, all want revenge for Danzo. If it is only about public affairs and not selfish, Hengguang is the best choice for the next generation of Hokage. Menyon, what are your thoughts? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Homura Mitokado. He just felt that there was something in Homura Mitokado's words. "You can't move him, there is no reason to condemn him." Homura Mitokado continued, "Since this is the case, you can't let him go down, let him disappear, then hold him up. Time will dilute everything, and then." Quote. There were no people present who were wise and intelligent. As soon as Homura Mitokado said that, Kaharu Yutane's eyes lit up, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was quite moved. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled up behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. A black-robed ninja appeared out of thin air, whispered a few words to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and respectfully handed the pocket scroll to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, opened the scroll and looked at the information from the country of the vortex. Luhan beheaded Kurigakure. There were more than 100 ninjas gathered by Danzo nearby. Some of them were solo ninjas and some were missing nin. It can be said that they witnessed Hengguang fighting against the core power of Kurigakure alone. The news came on the same day. It spread throughout the country of the vortex, and at this time, the information finally returned to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen finished reading the scroll, his face still gloomy, and handed the scroll to Kaharu Yutane, and Kaharu Yutane handed it to Homura Mitokado after reading it. "Just do as Menyon said. Sarutobi Hiruzen decided, recall White Fang immediately. That night, Hangguang's house was still brightly lit and noisy, because there were too many people for the banquet, and the tables were already placed in the courtyard. Ninjas from each tribe came to the mansion one after another, and whispered to the head of the clan. The cold light hit the core of Kurigakure in the country of Vortex, killed more than 10 strong Kurigakure, and escaped from the boiling rain. The beheading of Danzo was completely exposed. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to hide it at all, he couldn't hide it at all, and Akatsuki would be known sooner or later. A compliment sounded again in the mansion, and the banquet reached a new climax. As the night got darker, after the honored guests were happy, the dinner was over, and the guests left one after another. Hyuga Huyang was the last to leave. Before leaving, he stood under the tree and talked to Luhan. The two had unusual identities, so no one dared to come forward to disturb them. Therefore, there were only 3 people under the tree, except Luhan and Hyuga Huyang. There is Hyuga Huyang's eldest son, Hyuga main clan young patriarch Hyuga Hiyashi. Hyuga Hiyashi showed great respect to Luhan. In terms of relationship, Luhan had to call him cousin, but Hyuga Hiyashi didn't dare to care about it. Hyuga Huyang is already thinking about the future of the Hyuga clan, and he took the initiative to propose that he hopes that Hyuga Hiyashi will enter the Anbu experience. One is to hone Hyuga Hiyashi's ability, and the other is to hope that Hyuga Hiyashi will get closer to Hangguang, the Anbu captain, so that Hangguang will join the Hokage in the future. When Hyuga Hiyashi took over as the patriarch, the Hyuga family's position in Konoha was stable. Chapter 0633 Hokage Assistant _ In fact, Hyuga Huyang can't be sure whether Hangguang will definitely ascend to the position of Hokage in the future. No one can fully grasp the future. After making the investment, he was actually very fortunate to let Luo Ning marry Hangguang, and the Hyuga family and Hangguang have always had an excellent relationship. After Hyuga Huyang and Hyuga Hiyashi left, Konoha was dead at night, and Luhan disappeared directly under the tree. The bedroom, Tsunade and Hyuga Luo Ning sat side by side. Both of them had a yuhi expression on their faces, but they were also a little annoyed. The so-called Little B was a new wedding. This night was destined to be extraordinary. They both wanted to monopolize Luhan, but neither of them it's easy to say who to drive away, although Tsunade is considered a big woman, but he is too embarrassed to speak. Luhan appeared in the room out of thin air, glanced at the two wives, and smiled strangely. Tsunade rolled his eyes at Luhan, as if he was blaming Luhan, but Hyuga Luo Ning jumped up and rushed towards Luhan. More urgent than Luhan. Spring is everywhere. After a few days, Luhan was at home at leisure, discussing life with his two wives. Sarutobi Hiruzen never summoned him. So far, he has not made a detailed report to Sarutobi Hiruzen, because he took out Danzo's head that day. Sarutobi Hiruzen could not hear anything. Hangguang's beheading of Danzo has also become the focus of Konoha's discussion in the past few days, and even the unfavorable situation of the war in the Land of Rain has been weakened a lot. Until 5 days later, Sarutobi Hiruzen summoned Luhan. When Luhan came to the office, Hatake Sakumo, who had just rushed back, had just finished reporting to Luhan. The two passed by in the office. Hatake Sakumo gestured to Luhan twice, indicating that he was waiting for Luhan outside. Luhan officially reported to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Senju Senra's death, Wanli's pursuit of Hanzo, and the killing of Kazekage. Luhan said it in great detail, but he concealed the fact that Senju Senra was still alive, and Uchiha Madara and others. Sarutobi Hiruzen always listened expressionlessly. He needs to know the whole situation, that's all. As for what he thinks is wrong, or encourages Luhan, he doesn't bother to say, it's not important anymore. After the report was completed, Sarutobi Hiruzen handed a scroll to Luhan and said, I will hold a special meeting soon, this is the content of the meeting. Luhan frowned slightly, opened the scroll to take a look, and his face didn't change after that. Is there a problem? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. No, Luhan replied. looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Yuhi name. If Sarutobi Hiruzen is not Yuhi's name, at this moment, Luhan will be very grateful to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and even think that Sarutobi Hiruzen will really pass on the position of Hokage to himself, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is Yuhi's name. Outside the Hokage building, Luhan came out and saw Hatake Sakumo, who had been waiting for a long time. "Congratulations, Lord Hengwang," Hatake Sakumo said with a smile, and saluted Luhan. Given his relationship with Luhan, of course, this is not necessary. This is just a joke. "Come on, let's go, find a place to sit first," Luhan said. An hour later, Sarutobi Hiruzen held a special meeting in the third meeting room of the Hokage building. Total of 36 senior Konoha ninjas participated in this meeting. These 36 ninjas, in addition to senior Konoha leaders, also included clan chiefs, unit leaders, managers of various departments, etc. Tsunade also took the title of the Chief Medical Ninja of the Konoha Medical Unit. Identity to attend. At the meeting, Sarutobi Hiruzen first made a report on the current battle in the Kingdom of Rain, just to explain, not to solicit opinions, and finally he announced his decision: Konoha will never back down, and will use force to pacify this ninja war. After that, Kaharu Udatane read out the information about the village of Kurigakure that was just passed on. There is a suspected civil strife in Kurigakure village. It is speculated that it is related to the fall of the Kurigakure Zuxiang in the country of Vortex. Therefore, Luhan once again became the focus of the audience. Now everyone knows that Luhan killed the people. It can be said that Anbu Captain Hongguang is the one who caused the Kurigakure civil strife. The instigator, Boiling Yu, is likely to step down because of this, or even die in the turmoil. This is another achievement. Then, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave a speech on the current situation of the ninja world. The current situation is indeed extremely unfavorable for Konoha. The village of Iwagakure in the Land of the Land has ended its alliance with Konoha. All the legions have withdrawn to the Land of the Land. Country Kumogakure village core battled. On the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, there are only 3 forces left: Sunagakure village, Omegakure village, and Konoha village. 2 against 1, Konoha is under great pressure, but this does not mean that Konoha will lose, because Konoha is originally the strongest force in the ninja world. The Sunagakure village is a bit worse than the Konoha, and the comprehensive combat power of the Omegakure village is after the 5 major ninja villages. However, Konoha is still at a disadvantage. The main influence is in the village of Kurigakure, the Land of Water. Kurigakure village is now in civil strife. Once the civil strife is settled, they will most likely join the ninja war. At that time, Konoha will face a formidable enemy. After explaining the current situation in the ninja world, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally mentioned the highlight of this meeting, Danzo. Danzo was bewitched and turned away from Konoha. "My heart aches, missing Nin is unforgivable, and he's been killed now. After all, he hasn't done anything to hurt Konoha. From the first ninja war to the present, Danzo for me, Konoha was born and died." Sarutobi Hiruzen rambled for a long time, talking about Danzo's faults, and his past achievements, and finally said, "A person's death is like a lamp. His right or wrong is all in the past. I decided. Do you have any opinions on burying him in the tombs of Haoshin Group? Tombs of the Back Mountains, the ninjas who died fighting for Konoha, can be buried there." There was silence in the conference room, and Luhan didn't object. He killed Danzo because of personal grudge, and Luhan didn't care where Sarutobi Hiruzen buried him. "Okay, that's it," Sarutobi Hiruzen said, then picked up a scroll, unfolded it and looked at it. The following is an announcement of several personnel appointments. First, from now on, Hongguang will step down as captain of Anbu. Second, Hatake Sakumo will be resigned to Anbu, to take over the post of Captain Anbu, codenamed White Fang. Quote. What's the matter? An uproar. Once again, all the senior ninjas showed incredible expressions. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually deprived Hongguang Anbu of his position as captain. Third, Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice was a little heavier, and he glanced at everyone present. From now on, Han Guang will serve as Konoha's high-level advisor and also serve as Hokage's assistant. Chapter 0634-shelving. The noisy meeting room suddenly became quiet, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's successive announcements of personnel appointments made them feel quite caught off guard. First, they stripped Hangguang Anbu from the position of captain, and let the former Anbu captain White Fang rule Anbu again. The ninjas present thought that Sarutobi Hiruzen was holding a grudge, that's why Han Guang was dismissed. Danzo is not one or two, such as Hyuga Huyang or Uchiha Leiyang, or Inazuka Tears. They never believe that Danzo will back Konoha, but it is a personal grudge between Danzo and Hangguang. They are all clear, after all, they were all witnesses to the chaos in the back mountain. So Hangguang killed Danzo first and then played. If Sarutobi Hiruzen has no idea in his heart, he will be damned. Unexpectedly, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not want to cut Cold Light, but to promote him. The power structure of Konoha village is highly centralized. Sarutobi Hiruzen, as Hokage, master has all the rights, and can decide or veto everything with one word. Under Hokage, there are several advisors, ninjas who serve as advisors. In addition to having a guard force, he did not directly command any Konoha troops, but he was a real high-level Konoha and had extremely high voting rights in major affairs. This kind of right sounds like nothing, but it is actually a great right. For a certain matter, if several major consultants express their support, even Hokage will rarely speak out against it. It's not that they can't, but they dare not. Advisors can not only select Hokage, but also remove Hokage. However, so far, the position of Konoha Hokage has only been passed down for 3 generations, and these 3 generations of Hokage are all wise, so there has been no case of removing Hokage. And speaking of Hokage assistants, in fact, this position is optional. Before the 3rd generation Hokage, the 1st generation Hokage and the 2nd generation Hokage were in power, and there was no Hokage assistant until Sarutobi Hiruzen came to power. When Danzo fought for power with him, both sides made concessions. Sarutobi Hiruzen became Hokage and added Hokage assistant. He appointed Danzo as Hokage's assistant, and gave Danzo the right to independently establish a force, thus Danzo established the root organization. Because of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen said when he announced his appointment that he was also serving as a Hokage assistant. Hokage assistant must be a consultant. If you really want to be honest, a consultant is an official position. It is the same with or without Hokage assistant. Hokage's assistant position is half a level higher than that of a consultant. The person who holds this position is the number 2 figure in Konoha, but in matters such as meeting votes, this position is useless, and only consultants can work. This is very strange. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to promote Hangguang, he does not need to appoint him as an assistant to Hokage. A consultant is enough. After all, in Konoha, this position was originally established for Danzo. Many people have already felt that Sarutobi Hiruzen is in release a signal about the position of Hokage, and directly mention the cold light to this position. It seems to be preparing for the future transfer to him. Hokage assistant, so suddenly. With the merits of Lord Hangguang, I can afford it. It's amazing, Lord Hokage said before that Lord Hangguang should step down as captain of Anbu, I thought. There were buzzing discussions in the conference room. Uchiha Leiyang was overjoyed. He sat beside Luhan and whispered his joy directly. The whole person was happy as if he was the assistant of Hokage. He was very fortunate, although the Uchiha tribe had conflicts with Han Guangduo. But 3 years ago, Uchiha Leiyang began to get close to Han Guang, and he gave Han Guang support at conferences many times, maintaining the honeymoon period with Han Guang. When Danzo was there, he always regarded the Uchiha clan as a thorn in the eye, which brought a lot of trouble to the Uchiha clan, but now it has been replaced by Hangguang. Hangguang has Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Leiyang has always believed that Hangguang has the Uchiha bloodline, and so on. Hangguang's upper position is equivalent to someone from the Uchiha tribe at the core decision-making level of Konoha. Thinking, Uchiha Leiyang glanced at Hyuga Huyang. Speaking of which, Hyuga Huyang and Hangguang are also very close, but in Uchiha Liuyang's heart, the Uchiha family is closer to Hangguang. Although Hyuga Huyang's niece Hyuga Luoning married to Hangguang, but Hangguang has Uchiha bloodline. Surprise of Uchiha Liuyang, Hyuga Huyang did not appear happy, but frowned, as if worried. Hyuga Huyang is not worried, but feels that something is wrong. Because he didn't even know about it before, it stands to reason that Sarutobi Hiruzen was going to hold a high-level meeting to discuss such a major decision. The meeting was indeed held, but Sarutobi Hiruzen did not inform Hyuga Huyang. Before this meeting, Hyuga Huyang didn't know anything. It's not normal, it can only be said that Sarutobi Hiruzen deliberately kept it from him. But he couldn't figure it out. Sarutobi Hiruzen sent Hangguang to the position of Hokage's assistant, but he didn't discuss it with himself. What was the reason? Only Lu Han knows Sarutobi Hiruzen's intentions best, because he is the party involved, and he knows best what he has gained and what he has lost after becoming Hokage's assistant. He got a position that was useless most of the time, but he lost control of Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen even transferred White Fang back to Anbu as the captain, in order to make Anbu completely out of Hangguang's control. If the captain is directly promoted from Anbu, the new captain was once under Hangguang, and in all likelihood he will obey Hangguang. No one can replace the prestige of Hangguang, only the old captain White Fang can. Lu Han lost the right to directly mobilize troops. Sarutobi Hiruzen promoted Lu Han to the position of the number 2 figure in Konoha. Speaking of beauty, he has a high position. In fact, unless Sarutobi Hiruzen also gave Lu Han the right to form an independent army, Lu Han would not be able to compare with the original Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen with him, he's Hokage's assistant, without him, he's nothing. This is the purpose of Sarutobi Hiruzen, using 4 words to describe his intention: put it on the shelf. As long as the other advisors have one heart with Sarutobi Hiruzen, Lu Han will be completely suspended without any rights. Unless Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead, it will be difficult for Lu Han to have a bright future. No matter how dazzling the exploits are, time will dilute everything. Chapter 0635_Opponent. If Sarutobi Hiruzen did not have the mind to settle accounts after the fall, Lu Han would not believe it if he killed him. He might be waiting for Lu Han to make a mistake, or he might be planning something secretly. It is difficult for Lu Han to speculate on what Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to do. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a very affectionate person. Danzo has always been planning to seize power and become Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't care. Danzo's position in his heart can be imagined. Personally, Lu Han killed Danzo because of personal vendetta. To root out missing Nin for Konoha is nothing but an excuse, which is the most unacceptable thing for Sarutobi Hiruzen, and this is pure revenge. There was a lot of noise in the conference room, and it didn't subside for a long time. Quiet. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave a low voice, and after attracting all the attention, he added, "The above personnel appointments were decided by me and several consultants. Do you have any questions?" Routine inquiries. Generally speaking, in this kind of situation where Hokage has already stated that he has no opinion with his advisors, no one will object, but it is still not long-term. I don't think it's appropriate for Hangguang to serve as Hokage's assistant. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned slightly as the heavy voice caught everyone's attention. Inuzuka tears. The commander of the garrison, one of the few strong ninjas with real power among the older generation of powerhouses. To be said that Inuzuka has a very strong voice. Even if he is not a consultant, he has more power than Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, etc. It is just that the right to vote is not as good as that of a consultant. Lu Han glanced at Inuzuka with tears, and kept his face. "Lord Tears, please say." Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, although his heart was not happy, but on this occasion, he had to show respect to Inuzuka Tears. "Lord Hokage." Inuzuka got up in tears and said loudly, "It is undeniable that with Hangguang's merits, I can take up the role of Hokage's assistant. I am not a pedantic person. Although Hangguang is still young, he already has the demeanor of a leader. However, Hokage, the role of assistant is not essential. If Han Guang is placed in this position, it will waste his talent. During the war, there should be no such waste. The country of rain is not conducive to the war. If Han Guang is bound by Hokage's assistant role, it is completely unnecessary. The subordinates proposed to temporarily leave Hokage's assistant position vacant, Han Guang to serve as a consultant, and at the same time to stay in the main battle legion, and go to the front line to work for Konoha. Inuzuka's tears made it very clear that he did not look down on Lu Han, but felt that it was a waste to let Han Guang serve as Hokage's assistant. Hokage assistants are the same as Hokage. Generally speaking, they cannot leave Konoha without authorization. Those who can delegate tasks to Hokage assistants can only be Hokage, and they must be extremely important tasks. Hokage assistants can leave. In comparison, Hokage is more important than Hokage assistants. Freedom. In any emergency, Hokage can leave Konoha, and when Hokage leaves, the Hokage assistant is in control. Inuzuka saw Lu Han's talents with tears. Although he had a bad relationship with Lu Han before, he was dedicated to the public and didn't care about those. According to his intention, he hoped that Lu Han would join the main army while serving as a consultant. As Lu Han, no matter which main battle army he goes to, he must be the Grand Commander. Once Lu Han becomes the commander of the Legion, his power will only increase further. Although the power level of the major legions is not as good as that of Anbu, 2000, or 3000. It can be said that Inuzuka's tears are fighting for power for Lu Han. Inuzuka tears deliberately contradicting Sarutobi Hiruzen. No, but he didn't know Sarutobi Hiruzen's intentions at all, not because he wasn't smart enough to think, but because he didn't dare to think that Sarutobi Hiruzen would use power for personal gain. Inuzuka tears has absolute loyalty to Sarutobi Hiruzen, but this loyalty comes from Konoha. Other words, Inuzuka's true loyal object is Konoha, not Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. He thought of Konoha wholeheartedly, and felt that Sarutobi Hiruzen's arrangement was inappropriate, so he bluntly spoke up. Lu Han looked at Inuzuka with tears in his eyes. Inuzuka tears and Sarutobi Hiruzen are not the same generation, so I don't understand how deep the relationship between Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo is. Lord Tears said yes. It is indeed a bit inappropriate. Hokage assists in this position, and it is not necessary. If Lord Hangguang is allowed to go to the front line, maybe the situation will be reversed. Many people agreed with Inuzuka's tearful words. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply at the whispers in the conference room. He tilted his head and glanced at Kaharu Udatane, tapped his hand on the table, and said, "Let's vote. I think Hangguang can be used as Hokage. Assistant, please raise your hand." Sarutobi Hiruzen was the first to raise his hand after speaking, followed by Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado. Uchiha Leiyang raised his hand to show his support. He didn't care what the front line was. He preferred Lu Han to succeed Hokage. Hokage's assistance in this position was a guarantee. Hyuga Huyang hesitated for a while, and finally chose to support it. Although he felt it which problem, but still chose to support Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hokage, the two major advisors, and the two major clan chiefs are all supportive, and the overall situation has been decided. In the end, very few people did not raise their hands. Inuzuka could only sigh and sit back in the chair. The meeting is over. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to make any more troubles, and directly announced the end of the meeting. Hokage and the two advisors left first. Lu Han wanted to leave too, but was stopped. A large group of people gathered around to say congratulations and complimented Lu Han for a while, one at a time, Lord Hangguang. Only a few did not support Lu Han as Hokage. The assistants left directly through the side door. Lu Han finally got rid of the group of people, and said to Tsunade next to him, "You go back first." Then he said to White Fang on the other side, "As for the handover, I will go to Anbu later." Forest path. Inuzuka burst into tears, followed by a few cronies of ninjas, and the group went to the garrison camp. Inuzuka's face was very bad, and he still didn't understand why Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted Hongguang to be Hokage's assistant. Call. A figure appeared out of thin air in front of the path. Lu Han. Assistant, sir, is there something? Inuzuka stopped in tears. His face was not good. He didn't have a problem with Lu Han, but felt that Lu Han was here to make trouble. After all, he prevented Lu Han from serving as Hokage's assistant at that time. Chapter 0636-need support. Lord Lei, can you talk about it alone? Lu Han said calmly, with no joy or anger in his tone. Naturally, Inuzuka will not refuse such a request. After all, Lu Han is also Hokage's assistant now. He raised his hand to his side, and Inuzuka said with tears, "You go back first." "Yes, your lord." Several ninjas respectfully followed their orders and left one after another. Soon, only Lu Han and Inuzuka were left in the woods. After Lu Han opened the insight map and confirmed that there was really no one else nearby, he walked up to Inuzuka and said with a wry smile, "Thank you Lord Lei for me." Mei Yan, alas, I didn't expect this to happen. Lu Han's words made Inuzuka cry. He didn't understand. Lu Han didn't give Inuzuka Tears a chance to speak, and looked like Inuzuka Tears as his own, thinking that Inuzuka Tears knew everything, and said, "Maybe I really did something wrong, but Danzo tried to put me in the wrong place many times. Death, although the matter between me and him was a personal feud, it was not me who was at fault. He betrayed Konoha. As the captain of Anbu, I should eradicate the scourge of Konoha. If I hadn't discovered it earlier, Danzo would have already joined Boiling Rain." Ah! Lu Han sighed again, as if there were a lot of grievances in his heart. Inuzuka didn't understand even more tears, and frowned at Lu Han. How did he get involved with Danzo? Regarding Danzo's death, although Inuzuka's heart was touched by tears, after all, Danzo was Hokage's assistant, but he did not have any sadness. He and Danzo had no personal relationship, not a generation. Naturally will not be in contact with Inuzuka Tears. Inuzuka wanted to say something. But I never thought. Lu Han interrupted Inuzuka's tears. Danzo has made great contributions to Konoha after all. Lord Hokage, maybe he can't let go, he is too affectionate. Saying directly that Sarutobi Hiruzen is a public revenge, but you can't say it directly, that's too deliberate. Inuzuka's tears were a sudden shock, and his pupils shrank violently. He didn't understand before why Sarutobi Hiruzen appointed Lu Han as Hokage's assistant. It didn't make sense. Is it necessary to establish a successor in such a hurry? Sarutobi Hiruzen is only in his 40s, and even if he abdicates, it will take 10 years to say the least. Now, Inuzuka's tears are somewhat clear. I didn't expect that things would turn out like this. Lord Lei spoke up for me and offended Lord Hokage. I can only say sorry. Thank you Lord Lei again. Lu Han saluted Inuzuka Tears, then shook his head and sighed. He turned around without taking 2 steps, and disappeared out of thin air. Beginning to end, Lu Han looked like Inuzuka knew everything. Actually Inuzuka didn't want to understand anything. But he understands now. Looking at the location where Lu Han left, Inuzuka's tearful face became cloudy and uncertain. He is not a fool. Lu Han has spoken to this level. He naturally understands that Lu Han's thanks and Lu Han's helplessness are all in his eyes. Inside. He never thought that Sarutobi Hiruzen would have a day when he would use power for personal gain. Don't let Hongguang go to the battlefield, don't give Hongguang any real power. To put it mildly, Sarutobi Hiruzen is just crowding out Lu Han. He is Hokage. Just say no to trust and you can do it. But now is the wartime. This matter is often after all. Hongguang stayed behind Konoha, and without a strong man like him on the battlefield, Konoha might have to die as many ninjas as possible. To Anbu's station, Lu Han was in a good mood. So far, no one knew that Lu Han had ambitions to fight for the position of Hokage. You must know that waiting for the position and taking the initiative to fight are 2 concepts. If Lu Han wants to fight, he will definitely need people's support. Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado are both Sarutobi Hiruzen's hardcore cronies, and they are also very concerned about Danzo's death, so these two can't be counted on at all, but Hyuga Huyang can still fight for it, followed by Inuzuka Tears. Inuzuka's seniority is high, and he holds great power. He really has a detached status. The reason why he is not a consultant is mainly because the task of the garrison is too heavy, and he does not have the time to hold frequent meetings. Inuzuka's performance at the meeting won Lu Han's favor and made Lu Han understand that he would not deny a person based on his age, but would place more emphasis on strength and merit. For these 2 points, Konoha could no longer find a second person. Can be compared with Lu Han. Coming to Anbu, Hitaki Sakumo was already waiting for him in the command room. Handover of duties is very simple, because Lu Han has been out on assignments before. Recently, Sarutobi Yushuan and Hyuga Bonin are in charge of Anbu's affairs. They need to hand over a lot of information to Hitaki Sakumo, while Lu Han only needs to sign a few words. Hitaki Sakumo always looked complicated when he was handed over. Sarutobi Hiruzen probably didn't tell him the inside story. At most, he told him to hold Anbu tightly in his hand, but that didn't mean that Hitaki Sakumo didn't understand. He must have figured out something. Lu Han didn't talk to him too much. If he talked too much, it would create a rift. Before parting, Lu Han said, "Since you're here, what about the S department?" Taishuo will take over as S Corps commander. Hitaki Sakumo said. Oh, Lu Han's heart skipped a beat. What a surprise. Hitaki Taishuo is Lu Han's direct disciple, not counting his loyalty to Konoha, but his loyalty to Lu Han is obviously higher than his loyalty to Sarutobi Hiruzen. In the history of the original book, Hitaki Taishuo is an unknown person. I think he has not broken through the bottleneck and died early. From this perspective, Lu Han has rebuilt him. The level of Division S is equal to that of Anbu, and even Tsunade is named in Division S. That is, compared to the leaders of the 2 divisions, Captain Anbu has a higher power level. Obviously, Sarutobi Hiruzen has no intention of harming Chiyu, and will not suppress Hitaki Taishuo because Hitaki Taishuo is close to Lu Han, and the impact will be very large. 2 days later, late at night. Route Station, under the pretext of cultivating, instead of staying at home. This place has been abandoned and no one else will come, because this is the office of Hokage's assistant. After Danzo's betrayal, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't say anything, so Lu Han came here as a matter of course. Inside the dimly lit cave, Lu Han sat cross-legged on the futon, his breath completely restrained. At 0-100, Lu Han's body became illusory and then solidified. Chapter 0637-Body of Fairy. In the silver-gray world, Lu Han walked out of the crack in the light ball. When I came back to the subversive space, a feeling of both familiarity and unfamiliarity flooded Lu Han's heart. He hadn't been here for a long time. After careful calculation, it was 2 years and 7 months. When he came here, he didn't have to exchange or do nothing. When the time is up, it will be automatically sent out. It's okay. Lu Han has done this before. He came here frequently for a period of time. Never been here again. Ingot exchange. Lu Han said to the ball of light, the messenger of subversion. A dazzling light suddenly shone out of the ball of light. It was different from the previous one. This time, the light was golden, and the light condensed into a light curtain. There were nearly 4,000 grids on it. There is one exchangeable item. The most expensive exchange item. Sealing order 2,500 ingots, exclusive to subversives. What the hell? Lu Han frowned, checking the details of the seal. Sealing order. After the host exchanges this item, he will obtain the approval of the civilians on a piece of land and establish a ninja village on this land. After reading the explanation, Lu Han turned his eyes away. Obviously, the system gave him multiple subversion routes to choose from. Establishing a ninja village and pushing the world flat is also a way of subversion. However, Lu Han has now to compete for the position of Hokage and have unparalleled prestige in Konoha, wait for Sarutobi Hiruzen to have an accident, or create an accident for him, and the land seal order is naturally useless to Lu Han. Lu Han couldn't give up on the bottom line. Unless he betrayed Konoha, it would be no problem to gather a group of ninjas with his prestige. At present, Lu Han has a total of 2,675 ingots. Half of them came from Hokage of the third generation. At that time, Lu Han beheaded him, got the first kill, and directly obtained more than 100 ingots. Lu Han also exchanged all the S-level and A-level skills obtained from the third generation Hokage into ingots. Because there was no Jiden magnet style scroll on Hokage 3, so Lu Han didn't learn any magic on him. The other ingots are naturally from the group of people who killed in the country of Vortex, Danzo, Kurigakure, more than 10 strong, but because there was no first kill, Lu Han did not get special skills, did not learn, and replaced everything that could be replaced with ingot. Now that Lu Han has a very detailed plan for his growth, he doesn't need some messy techniques, such as a certain S-level group attack ninjutsu. It's pointless to learn more than one, because Lu Han already has flowers and rain. Technique. What Lu Han wanted to gain was to improve his current abilities. Like Haraishin. Like Sharingan. Of course, if you can get Impure World Reincarnation, you still have to change it. This part-time skill is a bug in the Hokage world. No Impure World Reincarnation. Lu Han looked at the exchange range of 2,675 to 1,000 ingots. He didn't find this technique. He even had some doubts. Was this technique cancelled because it was too unnatural? Or maybe there were not enough ingots, and he didn't ask, because the subversive messenger would not answer his question. However, there are several other abilities that make Lu Han's eyes hot, and they are all on the list. The 8th inner gates open 7 straight. Exchange price, 2,100 ingots. Jinten particle style will be eliminated by blood. Exchange price, 1,800 ingots. Immortal body, exchange price, 1,500 ingots. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan precondition. Mangekyo Sharingan is required. Exchange price, 1,500 ingots. Price is outrageous. The 8 inner gates is easy to understand. That is to open 7 gates without any preconditions. Even if Lu Han is an ordinary waste, as long as he accumulates 2,100 ingots, he can directly exchange to open the 8. The ability of inner gates 7 gates, opening 7 gates, is enough to hang a general cage level in a short time. But, the blood follows the elimination. I don't know if it's because the blood follower elimination is higher than Kekkei Genkei, so there is such a price of pervert. Not enough. Lu Han thought about it. What he wanted most was the body of a fairy plus Mangekyo, because the combination of the two would have enough conditions to open Rinnegan, but he didn't have that many treasures. Only one of 2 choices. The remaining one will be exchanged after saving enough ingots. Exchange the body of a fairy. Lu Han quickly made a decision. For Lu Han, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is powerful, and it can intuitively improve Lu Han's strength. For example, he can directly summon the 3rd form of Susanoo, and even the full-body Susanoo is also possible. As for the Prestige Susanoo, don't think about it for now. This is what Kyuubi, Ninetales, uses to fight Konoha. However, what Lu Han needs now is not a tortoise shell, and his total chakra is far less than the original Uchiha Madara. Once he has the body of an immortal, Lu Han's total chakra will skyrocket. It can be seen that although the system has positioned the body of the immortal and the eternal Mangekyo at the same price, there are preconditions for exchanging Mangekyo Sharingan, which means that the system believes that the value of the eternal Mangekyo is higher. Exchange completed. The voice of the subversive messenger resounded through the space. 1175 ingots left. Lu Han took out the scroll directly from the space backpack and unfolded it. The burning sensation spread all over Lu Han's body instantly. Every cell in Lu Han seemed to have undergone a qualitative change, and the pain followed. Lu Han did not move like a mountain. After waiting for a few minutes, all kinds of abnormal feelings dissipated. The body of an immortal. If it is possible, I wonder if I can cultivate my talent into Mokuden, wood style. If it is successful, it will save thousands of ingots. Lu Han thought about it and left the subversive space. Now Yuanbao is getting more and more difficult to earn, mainly because most of the first kills have been taken by Lu Han. In the absence of the first kill, even if the killed target is very powerful, it will not explode the most powerful spell on the body. Out, the probability is too low, only some ordinary skills can be released. You must know that the cheapest S-level skills are only worth 100 ingots, and generally can only be exchanged for 50 ingots. It's a pity, I killed Boiling Yu. Lu Han sighed. Boiling Rain, level 60 gold boss. Lu Han even got the first kill at level 70 bronze, but not at level 60 gold. Chapter 0638-15-year-old Uchiha Makoto. After Lu Han exchanged the body of a fairy, he basically didn't have to worry about chakra anymore, and his strength improved by leaps and bounds. At present, Lu Han can think of two most significant improvements. One is Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, it seems like a technique with no upper limit of power. How powerful Lu Han can exert depends entirely on the total amount of chakra he has. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, can play a very pervert fighting force in the hands of Kagaya Haim. After all, it is because of her chakrado. Throughout the history of Konoha, whether it is Uchiha Madara, Senju Hashirama, or the original protagonist Naruto, they all have a huge amount of chakra, and it is the huge amount of chakra that supports their strength. But I don't know if the all-killing ash bones used by Kagaya Haim is the ability of Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. The target body will collapse, even the ninja from Impure World Reincarnation. The effect of this technique cannot be said to be weak. The second significant improvement, Taiju Weird. This technique has no upper limit. For a long time, Lu Han thought that the higher the level of this technique, the more chakras that could be output. In fact, this was wrong. The higher the level, the finer the control. As for medical treatment, this is the direction of the improvement of Taiju's strange power, and for the output of chakra, so far, Lu Han has not found the upper limit. In the short story of the original comic book, Hokage Ninja Gaiden, 7th generation Hokage and the Scarlet Flower Moon, Haruno Sakura, who has been married to Uchiha Sasuke and renamed Uchiha Sakura, punched the villain boss Uchiha Letter into serious injuries. The power of the strange power can be imagined. I didn't see the Sage Mode exchange item, and I don't know if there is any. If not, I don't know if I can find the big toad. At the end of July in the 35th year of Konoha, Kurigakure village, which had experienced 3 months of turmoil, finally regained its calm, and then there was a shocking news that Mizukage Boyu, the third generation of eyes, defected to Kurigakure village. Controlled by large tribes. The village of Kurigakure issued a statement that it still maintains the blockade policy and will not participate in the ninja war. Sarutobi Hiruzen was relieved when he got the news. The hardest part of these months is him. As long as Kurigakure doesn't make a statement, he can't do anything, can't do diplomacy, because the whole world is waiting for Kurigakure to make a statement, and now it's clear that Kurigakure's troubles doesn't really work out. Kurigakure announced that Mizukage had defected. You don't need to ask to know that someone forced Boyu away, otherwise, Ying is the head of the village, so does he need to defect. It is estimated that there are still differences within Kurigakure. There are many people who support Boiling Rain, and the group currently in control of Kurigakure is preparing for Boiling Rain's comeback. This is the reason why Kurigakure did not dare to participate in the Ninja World War. Revenge or something should be released first. As soon as it is released, if the Boiling Rain is not resolved, the group of guys will not sleep well. Boiling You shouldn't be so short-lived, right? Lu Han muttered to himself when he got the news. It's not that he didn't want Boyu to die, but he just didn't want Boyu to die in the hands of others. After all, this world ranks as a level 60 gold boss. A handful of ninjas. A new day. The charming Tsunade with a bit of flirtatious eyes asked Lu Han to go downstairs to eat. After 3 months of peaceful life, Lu Han fully implemented the basic principle of rain and dew for the sake of family harmony. Tsunade and Hyuga Luo Ning's nourishing more seductive. Lu Han had already told Tsunade about his body's problems. In short, as long as he did more, he might become pregnant. Therefore, Tsunade has become more daring, and is often more active than Lu Han. Fortunately, Lu Han is in good health and still young, otherwise he may really be powerless. Breakfast was spent with laughter and laughter. Uzumaki Kushina finished breakfast first, then got up in a hurry and said, "I'm leaving." After saying that, he kissed Lu Han's cheek with his probe before trotting away. "Fizzy, slow down," Tsunade reprimanded. Kushina turned back and stuck her tongue out at Tsunade, and went out the door. Lu Han is going to test Kushina's homework recently, not only the growth of Kushina's strength, but also her performance at work, so Kushina is very motivated. "Hey, why are you here again? Just tell me, don't go in." "Hey, stop. Asshole." Kushina is back again, blocking the beautiful girl ninja wearing a ninja costume, looking puffed up. "Kushina." Lu Han glanced at the door before putting down the bowl and chopsticks. Kushina crooked the corners of her mouth and looked vigilantly at the girl ninja in front of her, but when Lu Han spoke, she could only move away. The girl ninja entered the door and respectfully saluted several people at the table: Lord Hengguang, Lord Tsunade, Lord Luoning. "Makoto is here, come and sit." Tsunade glanced at Lu Han and greeted Uchiha Makoto with a smile. Lu Han looked at Uchiha Makoto and felt a burst of emotion in his heart. He still remembered that when he first came here, Uchiha Makoto was only 10 years old and a little girl who loved to cry. It was because of her that Lu Han had a grudge against the Uchiha clan. At that time, Makoto, every time they met, Metro Yuhi called him Brother Han, with a small face, but after a lot of things happened, because he had less contact with Uchiha Makoto, he was a little unfamiliar. A few months later, after Lu Han became Hokage's assistant, Uchiha Makoto had a coincidence with Lu Han, and they went to the mansion frequently after that. 15-year-old Uchiha Makoto has grown from a budding bud to a slender appearance. According to the custom of the ninja world, Uchiha Makoto has reached the age of marriage. When Hyuga Luoning married Lu Han, he was only 15 years old. There is no doubt that Uchiha Makoto began to get close to Lu Han, which must be Uchiha Leiyang's meaning. Uchiha Leiyang had never thought of relying on marriage to maintain his relationship with Lu Han. Since Lu Han became Hokage's assistant, everything has changed. Uchiha Makoto is also just old. "Have you eaten together?" Lu Han smiled. Hearing Lu Han's words, Uchiha Makoto's cheeks were slightly yuhi, and he didn't know what Uchiha Leiyang had said to her, but he saw her shaking his head and said, "I've eaten, it was the patriarch who asked me to come and invited Lord Hengguang over." Chapter 0639 again. The past 3 months, Lu Han has been invited by Uchiha Leiyang many times. There is nothing special about going into and out of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Leiyang is looking for him, nothing more than to win over his feelings, and every time he has Uchiha Makoto to accompany him and serve tea. Lu Han understands Uchiha Leiyang's thoughts very well, but at the same time he is also very contradictory. He is not worried that the plot will be messed up. In the original work, Uchiha Makoto is Uchiha Fugaku's wife, Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke's wife, and in this Hokage world, Uchiha Makoto and Uchiha Fugaku have no chance of being together anymore, not to mention that Uchiha Fugaku has always been banned by Uchiha Leiyang. Even if Uchiha Fugaku becomes the leader of the patriarch one day, he will not look at Uchiha Makoto. Uchiha Makoto is the central figure of Uchiha's Thunder Young faction and is naturally extremely estranged from Uchiha Fugaku. In fact, Lu Han's main contradiction is that Tsunade can't rub sand in his eyes, and he has no intention of marrying more wives. Although this is not a taboo in the ninja world, Lu Han doesn't want to cause trouble for himself. And Uchiha Leiyang has already vaguely expressed that Lu Han and Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning have been married for several years and have not yet had any children. Maybe there is a problem with the bloodline. Uchiha Leiyang believes that Lu Han has the Uchiha bloodline, and the Uchiha family has always been there as a rule against foreign intermarriage. Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning can't get pregnant. If they change to Uchiha Makoto, maybe they will. Luhan explained a few words to Tsunade, then got up and walked out with Uchiha Makoto. Uchiha Lei-young invited Luhan to go, and both parties wanted to maintain a close relationship. All morning, Luhan was in the Uchiha clan, and he had a very pleasant chat with Uchiha Lei-young. Uchiha Lei-young wanted to stay with Luhan for lunch, but Luhan left alone on the pretext that his wife was ready. When I got home, lunch was ready. Uzumaki Kushina, who came back to eat, has been sullen, crawling on the table and grabbing the rice bowl, not a lady at all. Luhan couldn't stand it anymore, put down the bowl, tapped the back of Uzumaki Kushina's hand with chopsticks, and said, "Sit up straight, look like a girl." Kushina pouted and sat up straight, snorted, looked at Luhan and said, "Teacher, do you really want to marry Uchiha Makoto?" There was silence around the dining table. Nonsense. Luhan suddenly had a black line on his forehead and scolded, "Eat your meal, don't learn to chew your tongue." As he spoke, Luhan glanced at Tsunade again. In this matter, Hyuga Luoning has no right to speak, because she is the back door, Tsunade is the big woman. Seeing that Tsunade didn't seem to hear, he took a piece of sushi and put it in Luhan's bowl, and took a small bite of his own meal. "It's not what I said, everyone is saying, why are you killing me?" Kushina muttered again. Luhan glared at her, and she stopped talking. Halfway through lunch, Enbu Ninja came hurriedly outside the door, knelt on one knee in front of the door and said, "Master Hengguang, Master Tsunade, pass the Hokage order, urgent meeting." "Understood," Luhan replied, put down the tableware and looked at Tsunade. Now that Tsunade is mentioned, it is clear that Tsunade will also attend this meeting. Not long after. Hokage Building, Conference Room 3. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat on the main seat, glanced at the 30 or so ninjas below, and then looked at the information scroll in his hand. When Luhan and Tsunade arrived together, he put down the scroll and announced the start of the meeting. This morning, the Land of Rain and the Land of Earth both sent back important information. The battlefield of the Land of Rain, Chiyo used poison again and severely damaged the Konoha 3rd Corps. The Konoha 1st Corps did not take advantage of the confrontation with the Puppet Legion. There is also information that a large number of Omegakure ninjas appeared in the northwest border of the Land of Fire. It's unclear how much power Hanzo put into it. The Land of Earth, Iwagakure Village and Kumogakure Village have the same overall strength and have been fighting indistinguishably, but in the Land of Earth, there are rumors recently that Tsuchikage Onoki, the 3rd generation, had a decisive battle with Raikage, the 3rd generation, in the Wasteland Mountain 10 days ago, and Onoki was wounded and defeated. A Konoha scout confirmed that Onoki had not been seen for many days. Like Onoki, Rai is generally used as a shock and deterrent. Both sides have such superpowers. Neither side moves, which will not hinder the battle situation, but if Onoki is really hit hard by Ai, it will definitely damage the morale of Iwagakure Village. If Ai comes to the melee, and there is no Onoki check and balance, the Iwagakure Legion is in danger. It's still unclear how many troops Hanzo has invested in the border. It is estimated that he wants to cut off the retreat of my Konoha Corps. Sarutobi Hiruzen analyzed, drawing a lot of approval. After some deliberation, Sarutobi Hiruzen made arrangements. Hyuga Huyang obeys the order. I order you to assemble the Hyuga clan on standby ninjas, go to the front line of the Land of Rain, unite with the remnants of the 3rd Corps, and clear the border. Tsunade obeys orders. I order you to go to the front line of the Land of Rain and crack the poison in Sunagakure Village. Jiraiya and Orochimaru will accompany you. Inuzuka tearfully obeyed the order. I ordered you to allocate 3 brigades within the garrison corps, reorganize them into mobile units, and hand over to Tsunade to be in charge. Several major legions of Konoha are on the front line, only the Garrison Legion is left behind in Konoha, and because the Garrison Legion has not been worn out, it has recruited many ninjas who have grown up in recent years. It is the largest legion in Konoha ninjutsu. Even if 3 brigades are allocated out, the combat power has not been lost much. Hyuga Huyang has the status of a consultant, and even he was sent out, and he had to recruit people from the garrison army. It is conceivable how bad the situation on the front line is. Lord Hokage, Inuzuka, who was in command, burst into tears. Speak. My subordinate proposes to invite Lord Hengguang to fight in the Land of Rain, to take charge of the battle, and to use Lord Hengguang's strength. Needless to say, Sarutobi Hiruzen interrupted before Inuzuka's tears finished. Henggu has another important task. Inuzuka was about to stop crying, but Sarutobi Hiruzen had stopped the conversation, and he could only sigh in his heart. After the meeting, everyone got up and left. Luhan and Tsunade only took a few steps out, and Sarutobi Hiruzen waved, "Hengguang, stay." Soon, only Luhan and Sarutobi Hiruzen were left in the meeting room. Sarutobi Hiruzen really had a mission for Luhan, so he said straight to the point. I plan to send you to Kumogakure village, the land of thunder, to lobby the 3rd generation of Hokage. Again, Luhan was taken aback. Chapter 0640/The Dragon. In the past, Luhan would not think too much, no matter how Sarutobi Hiruzen would not target him, but now it is different. Sarutobi Hiruzen is Yuhi's name. Luhan had to think more, and sent himself an envoy to the kingdom of Lei. Is there something deep in it? Murder with a knife. This was the easiest answer Luhan could think of. Hokage, the 3rd generation, to kill Luhan. If it was before, Luhan went to Kumogakure village, and there is no such worry. At that time, although Luhan was famous among the high-level leaders of the major forces, in the final analysis, he was only Captain Konoha Anbu. Naturally, because of his identity, he would not trouble Luhan, but now it is different. Luhan has already made a name for himself in the ninja world and ranks among the strongest. They are all superpowers. I proposes to learn from each other, isn't it too much? You know, in the past few years, I and Sarutobi Hiruzen have fought back and forth many times, and they have not been able to decide the winner. Almost every time, I jumps up and fights. He is a fighting maniac. Luhan is gone. Find fault and hit some, it is strange. Is there a problem? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked, looking at Luhan with a faint gaze. No problem, Luhan said. He naturally wouldn't be afraid of I, no matter what kind of thoughts Sarutobi Hiruzen had. Luhan went to the Land of Thunder this time to make achievements and add chips to the future competition for the Hokage position. The situation is urgent. You go back to prepare immediately. Choose your followers. This matter should not be publicized. Do not bring too many people. If you can persuade I to give up the attack on the land of the land, and return immediately after the event is completed, if not, a month for don't come back right away. Sarutobi Hiruzen instructed. After leaving the Hokage building, Luhan went home directly, unavoidable to explain to Hyuga Luoning. He and Tsunade both had to go out on a mission, and only Hyuga Luoning was left alone at home. Because Hyuga Luoning was married to Luhan, strictly speaking, she was no longer a Hyuga clan ninja, so Hyuga Huyang could not recruit her to go to the front line of the Land of Rain together. Considering that this mission might be dangerous, it would be a burden to bring some useless people. If Luhan was held hostage, it would be very difficult for Luhan to fear fame, so he planned to take only one person to Kumogakure village. When he was on the last mission, Luhan brought a lot of people with him, mainly because his identity was not enough. This time, there is no such concern. As Hokage's assistant, the number 2 person in Konoha village, even if he goes to Kumogakure village alone, the other party will not feel that Konoha is despised. Before dusk that day, Luhan went to see Sarutobi Hiruzen again, then found Hatake Sakumo and asked Might Dai to come. Luhan intends to take him there. In addition to Might Dai's strength and the mysterious identity that will not be revealed, more importantly, this guy is a taijutsu ninja, and Kumogakure village is mostly a taijutsu ninja. Bring Might Dai there to facilitate diplomacy. In the early morning of the second day, Might Dai hit the road in the cold zone. A day later, on the northeastern border of the Fire Nation, Heimu Town. This is an important trade town in the Land of Fire. Although the Ninja World War has been fought for several years, there has been no large-scale conflict between the Land of Fire and the Land of Thunder. Therefore, Heimu Town, located in the northeast, still maintains trade exchanges, but there is no large-scale conflict between the Land of Fire and the Land of Thunder. It was only prosperous before the Ninja World War. I'm going to visit an old friend here. You'll be waiting for me outside the door for a while. You can't go in without my order. My subordinate understands. The mysterious Lu Han took Might Dai into a tea house in the town, all the way to the innermost corridor on the second floor. Lu Han pushed open the box door and walked in directly, while Might Dai stayed outside. Inside the box, on the long side, Uchiha Madara sat cross-legged in front of the square table, looking at the chessboard above. Lu Han entered the door to take a look, then raised his brows suddenly, walked to the opposite side of Uchiha Madara and sat down. He glanced at the chessboard. The battle on the chessboard was the key thing. White Zetsu has always kept a clone in the back mountain of Konoha village. Lu Han passed by here to meet Uchiha Madara. It was an appointment before. Where's Sen Luo? Lu Han asked. He won't come, Uchiha Madara said hoarsely, holding the sunspot in the palm of Madara's thin and covered old man, as if thinking about where to go. We agreed. Lu Han frowned deeply and placed Sen Luo next to Uchiha Madara. Lu Han was very worried and wanted to get it back, but he said it would definitely not work, so Lu Han wanted to talk to Sen Luo first. Meet. I persuaded him, but, you know, his son. Uchiha Madara shook his head. Before Lu Han was in the country of Vortex, he couldn't find Senju Senluo's son. Lu Han suspected that Danzo felt that Senluo was dead and that the child was useless, so he dealt with it, but it shouldn't be. As usual, Danzo shouldn't take it lightly. Lu Han also suspected that Uchiha Madara was in the way, but there was no evidence. You are now the assistant of Hokage, and you are one step closer to the position of Hokage. To be honest, your talent is not even worse than that of Jinchuriki column. Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara said. So what? Lu Han shook his head. Sarutobi Hiruzen is in his prime. Humph. I didn't expect that the ignorant kid back then has such a reputation today. What do you want to do? Lu Han felt that Uchiha Madara seemed to have something to say. What do you want me to do? Uchiha Madara asked rhetorically. Lu Han thought for a moment, then shook his head cautiously. He doesn't want Uchiha Madara to do anything now. Back then, he was not strong enough to collude with Uchiha Madara, mainly to prevent Uchiha Madara from making trouble for him. Now, he has the capital to fight for the position of Hokage, and he doesn't want Uchiha Madara to be involved. Uchiha Madara is a person who can do things without limits, and Lu Han doesn't want to ask for trouble. With Uchiha Madara for a while, Lu Han said goodbye and left. He contacted Uchiha Madara this time for Senju Senluo's sake, but unfortunately the person has been hidden by Uchiha Madara. After Lu Han left, Uchiha Madara was the only one left in the room. Uchiha Madara looked at the chessboard, put down the black piece, and took a white word from the chessboard. The white word suddenly lost its power, and Uchiha Madara dropped another black piece and cut the dragon. They're out of town and heading north. White Zetsu emerged from the corner. Well, good. Uchiha Madara showed a cold smile. Notify them that in 2 days, attack Konoha.